Chapter 110. Baya left the house. Su Jiran held her hand and walked to his car. Baya was annoyed. She shook off Su Jiran's hand and shouted, "Su Jiran, what do you want? What do you want? You've been studying in your room these days. You've given up your major and career just to go to the Discipline Inspection Commission. Who do you want to discipline?" Su Jiran asked tentatively. "What are you afraid of? It's fine as long as it's not you, isn't it?" Baya's eyes were cold. "You're not thinking of Su Zheng, are you?" Baya turned her face away. "Ha!" Su Jiran chuckled and leaned against the car door lazily. "Baya, you're ambitious. But don't you know that you're hitting a rock with an egg? Su Zheng is the head of the Discipline Inspection Commission. He can crush you with one word. Besides, his rank is not something that a small local discipline inspection commission can investigate. Don't be silly. Su Zheng and Gu Tianhang are two mountains that cannot be shaken." Su Jiran reminded her. "I don't think I need to report to you what I'm going to do." Baya turned around and was about to leave. Su Jiran pressed the back of Baya's head and pulled her in front of him. He aimed at Baya's lips and kissed her. Baya was furious. She slapped Su Jiran's face. "I'm telling you, I'll definitely succeed," Baya said confidently and walked forward. Su Jiran wiped the corner of his mouth. He narrowed his eyes and frowned. Even though he had just touched Baya's lips, he could feel a strong feeling in his body. He wanted her. Now, she only had a physiological reaction to Baya. Baya arrived at the Discipline Inspection Commission. She reapplied her lipstick in the washroom. There weren't many people in the Discipline Inspection Commission. The director introduced her to his subordinates. She went through the pre-employment procedures and took the oath. Baya didn't waste any time and went straight to the director's office. "What's wrong?" "Baya." The director looked at Baya, puzzled. "I remember that the Commission for Discipline Inspection has a rule that allows cross-city and cross-provincial discipline inspection and supervision," Baya said. "To prevent local officials from protecting each other, there's indeed a regulation." The director nodded. "I want to transfer to Jinyang City," Baya said. The bureau chief looked at Baya and asked suspiciously, "You want to go to Jinyang City so much? Do you have any news?" Baya nodded. "I have news. If I go to Jinyang City and make a contribution, it will be considered a political achievement for the director, right? I can't decide which province or city to send someone to supervise. I need to apply to the higher-ups. Also, I need to give a detailed reason for the specific province or city. Can you give me the reason? I can't decide which province or city to transfer someone to. I need to apply to the higher-ups. Also, I need a reason. Can you give me the reason? I don't need to apply to Deputy Chief Su. He's the director of the Discipline Inspection Commission. So, you're saying that I can go as long as the director gives his approval?" Baya asked. "Theoretically, yes. But he's the same rank as your father. He might not give face to your father." The director revealed that he knew Baya's identity. "I'll make a call." Baya nodded and left the director's office. She had read a book before. There was a young man who was blocked by a huge rock. He pushed, pried, and smashed the rock. But, he couldn't move it. Then, he was at his wit's end. He started asking for help. With the help of many people, the rock was finally moved. When you're in a desperate situation and you can't solve it yourself, you have to ask for help. Maybe you don't even know if the other party can help you. But, at least if they ask, there's hope. Baya called Song Shiyu. Previously, Song Shiyu said that she would make it up to her, but she refused. That's how people are. Sometimes, backbone is like a fart in the face of reality. It's insignificant. Song Shiyu was surprised when she received Baya's call. After all, Baya disappeared for 2 months. She asked someone to check. Baya went to Xing Bachuan's house. She found out Bai Ye's other identity. She was the daughter of Xing Bachuan's ex-wife. At the same time, she checked Bai Ye's past. Hello, Song Shiyu greeted her politely. You told me that I can look for you if I need help. Do you mean it? Bai Ye asked uncertainly. If it's within my ability, Song Shiyu promised. I'm working in the Discipline Inspection Department now. I want to be transferred to the Discipline Inspection Department in Jinyang City. I need a director in the Discipline Inspection Department to take charge of this. Can you help me talk to him? Bai Ye asked calmly. Sure, it's not a big deal. I'll call you in the afternoon after I'm done, Song Shiyu agreed readily. Thank you. Bai Ye was about to hang up. Did Gu Lingqing contact you? Song Shiyu asked immediately. Hearing the name Gu Lingqing, Bai Ye's heart still ached. She lowered her eyes and said calmly, he won't contact me. Don't worry, Mrs. Gu. He must know that we kidnapped you. Now he doesn't care about us. He doesn't answer our calls and doesn't even go home. Tian Hang went to the military to look for him, but he refused to see her. I heard that he went to take on a dangerous mission again. He's going to kill himself, Song Shiyu said in distress. Bai Ye's heart ached even more. She closed her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks quietly. If she hadn't been strong enough to know the news of Gu Lingqing's death, she wouldn't have lived on alone. He was the motivation for her to be strong, to work hard, and to be reckless. Mrs. Gu, there's nothing I can do. Bai Ye's words were still cold, without any warmth. Besides, I don't know what you mean by saying this. I misspoke. I'm sorry. I'll call for help now. I'll contact you later. As soon as Song Shiyu finished speaking, Bai Ye hung up the phone. She was caught off guard. She thought it was reasonable. She had hurt the girls so much. What did she want Bai Ye to do now? Song Shiyu was reliable. At 11 o'clock in the afternoon, Bai Ye received a call from Song Shiyu. They've agreed. You can ask your director to approve the application today. You can go to Jinyang City for discipline inspection tomorrow, Song Shiyu said with a smile. Thank you. Bai Ye was still cold. She hung up the phone and went straight to the director's office. Director, the higher-ups have agreed. You can apply now, Bai Ye said. The director didn't think that Xing Bachuan had the ability to get help from the higher-ups so quickly. This Bai Ye had a more powerful force supporting her than Xing Bachuan. He didn't want to offend Bai Ye and ruin his future, so he applied immediately. I've contacted the director in Jinyang City. I'll ask someone to book a plane ticket for you now. Tomorrow, they'll send someone to pick you up. If there's any situation, report it in time. I'll try my best to cooperate with you, the director said politely. Bai Ye nodded and walked out of the director's office. She took the second step smoothly. Chapter 111. On the way back from shopping, Bai Ye wondered who she would report to if she were the village chief of Tangqian village to find the gold mine. It wouldn't be easy for a village chief to meet the mayor. At most, he would go to the town to respond. Then, the mayor would respond. In addition, Qingbin's secretary at the time should know about it too. Coincidentally, she had done a lot of research. She found out. The mayor at the time was now the mayor of Jinyang City. And Qingbin's secretary was now the governor of Jinyang State. The two of them had known each other for a long time. Before Qingbin's secretary was a secretary, he and the mayor used to be the mayor and the secretary of the town committee of another town. She guessed that the village chief had reported it to the mayor had told the secretary, and the secretary had told Qingbin. If all three of them knew, then they were accomplices. She was looking up information on the mayor of Jinyang City, Lu Yangcheng. If she wanted to be promoted quickly, she had to make contributions. And these people had slaughtered villages, stolen wealth, and committed heinous crimes. Why were they still so famous? She wanted to trample on the sins of these people. There was a knock on the door. Baya closed the page and opened the door. Xing Jinyan stood at the door, a sinister smile on her face as she said arrogantly, "Come out for dinner. Don't say that we're mean to you." "I'm sorry, I've already eaten outside. If there's nothing else, don't disturb me." "I want to read tonight," Baya said coldly. Xing Jinyan stomped her feet. "Baya, don't be so shameless. My parents gave me my face. It's not something you can give me just because you want to." Baya closed the door and locked it. Xing Jinyan kicked the door angrily. She didn't look like a lady anymore. She had wanted to show off her affection in front of Baya. She hadn't expected Baya to not give her any face at all. "Dad, look, what does Baya mean? I invited her out for dinner out of goodwill, but she's not happy. Does she have any respect for you?" Xing Jinyan complained. "Ignore her. We don't have to invite her out for dinner in the future," Xing Bachuan said angrily. Su Jiran smiled and glanced at Baya's door. "I know Baya well. She has a twisted personality, but she's not a bad person. Sometimes, she's too stubborn and extreme. But she'll regret it after she's done. She's still a child. Don't be angry, uncle." Xing Jinyan was embarrassed. "Jiran, are you speaking for Baya?" "I'm just stating the facts. After all, you and her will always see each other. If you're angry, you won't be pretty anymore." "I hope that you'll always be pretty," Su Jiran coaxed. Xing Bachuan drank a mouthful of water. Jie Ran is right. After all, things are already like this. "So, when are you guys getting married?" "Jiran," Su Jiran said, "Yeah, Jiran are, I have you." "Xing, yeah, Jiran is me." "Bai Su." Su Chen, Xing Jinyan's face darkened even further, and he muttered softly, "I thought you've never touched Baya before. People don't know. Gossip is a fearful thing. Nian, I don't want you to get hurt. Plus, I've just been demoted from my position as the deputy director. Many people are watching me. I'm free now. Can I go overseas with you?" Su Jiran pulled Xing Jinyan into his arms. Xing Jinyan felt better when he heard that they were going overseas. He looked at Xing Bachuan. "Dad, it's not easy for Jiran to start a company. Can we just give him the land he wants?" Xing Bachuan nodded. "We'll do it according to the rules. Otherwise, people will think that I'm biased. It seems like I won't get any benefits from becoming Governor Xing's son-in-law," Su Jiran said jokingly. "Dad, I'm going to marry him. Can you bear to see me suffer with him?" Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. "There's a procedure, but no matter how complicated it is, people come up with it. There's always a way." Xing Bachuan coaxed Xing Jinyan and looked at Su Jiran. "I won't participate in the bidding, but I'll tell you the other party's base price. The lowest bidder wins. Doesn't that still cost a lot of money?" Xing Jinyan pouted and said unhappily. "The country has a lot of projects that can be subsidized. I'll just sign here and you'll know how much you'll be subsidized," Xing Bachuan explained. Xing Jinyan smiled and hugged Xing Bachuan's neck. "You're the best, Dad." "Yes, I'm not good to you," Su Jiran said, going along with Xing Jinyan's tone. "If you don't treat me better, I won't want you anymore." Xing Jinyan hugged Su Jiran's arm and looked at Chang Ruyan. Chang Ruyan cleared her throat and said, "Xiaonian is too clingy. Why don't you stay here today? Anyway, you're already engaged. It's good to cultivate your relationship as soon as possible." Su Jiran pinched Xing Jinyan's nose. "Little vixen, when the land is settled, we'll travel around Europe." Xing Jinyan smiled and looked at Baya's door proudly. She was the daughter of a powerful official, and Baya had nothing. How could she fight with her? In the next 2 months, Baya locked herself in her room and studied hard. She didn't go out at all. She didn't know much about Lu Shuang, nor did she ask about Gu Lingqing. She quit her job at the hospital. No one asked her to stay, and no one stopped her. Occasionally, she visited Bai Bing once a month. After Su Jiran got the land, she went out with Xing Jinyan for a month. Baiya didn't care about what was going on outside. Under the intense study, she got first place in the written test and passed the interview. Today was her first day at the discipline inspection office in City A. She put on light makeup. Because she didn't have work clothes yet, she deliberately wore a smart suit. Wearing the suit, she didn't need to dress up, and it outlined her perfect figure. Baiya came out of the room with her bag, and her waist was suddenly held. She turned around and looked at Su Jiran. Su Jiran pushed her into the bathroom next door. His eyes were sparkling, and he looked at Baiya, not hiding his surprise at all. His eyes fell on her rosy lips, and he said evilly, "Baiya, you're so charming." Baiya remained cold. "Let go. I miss you," Su Jiran said in a husky voice. He held her hand, pressed it against a certain part of his body, and kissed her lips. Baiya calmly took a photo with her phone. Su Jiran looked at her warily. Baiya smiled. "Believe it or not, I'll send the photo to Xing Jinyan." Su Jiran leaned against the door, crossed his arms, and looked at her lazily. "Send it, whatever." Baiya couldn't do anything to a person like Su Jiran. "Aren't you worried that Xing Jinyan will find out about your dirty side and won't want you anymore?" "Actually, Xing Jinyan and I have been together for more than 3 months. I've been tired of her for a long time, and I want to find a reason to dump her. Why don't you help me think of one?" Su Jiran brushed the hair in front of Baiya's forehead. Baiya pushed Su Jiran away, opened the door, and went out. Su Jiran followed her out. Xing Jinyan saw them walking together on the stairs, and he clenched his fists. Ever since Su Jiran and Baiya divorced, he had never touched her again. Even when they went on a vacation together, he was not interested in it. She begged him to do it a few times, but Su Jiran couldn't get out every time. He had to use his mouth and hands to settle it. For the past month, although Su Jiran had been sleeping in the same room with her, no matter how she seduced him, he wouldn't get big. She was jealous, and her blood was boiling. She couldn't just sit and wait. Didn't Baiya like Gulingqing? Chapter 112. Baiya left the house. Su Jiran held her hand and walked to his car. Baiya was annoyed. She shook off Su Jiran's hand and shouted, "Su Jiran, what do you want? What do you want? You've been studying in your room these days. You've given up your major and career just to go to the Discipline Inspection Commission. Who do you want to discipline?" Su Jiran asked tentatively. "What are you afraid of? It's fine as long as it's not you, isn't it?" Baiya's eyes were cold. "You're not thinking of Su Zheng, are you?" Baiya turned her face away. "Ha!" Su Jiran chuckled and leaned against the car door. "Baiya, you're ambitious. But don't you know that you're in a hopeless situation? Su Zheng is the head of the Discipline Inspection Commission. He can crush you with one word. Besides, his rank is not something that a small local discipline inspection commission can investigate. Don't be silly. Su Zheng and Gu Tianhang are 2 unshakable mountains." Su Jiran reminded her. "I don't think I need to report to you what I'm going to do." Baiya turned around and was about to leave. Su Jiran held the back of Baiya's head and pulled her in front of him. He aimed at Baiya's lips and kissed her. Baiya was furious. She slapped Su Jiran's face. "I'm telling you, I'll definitely succeed," Baiya said confidently and walked forward. Su Jiran wiped the corner of his mouth. He narrowed his eyes and frowned. Even though he had just touched Baiya's lips, he could feel a strong feeling in his body. He wanted her. Now, she only had a physiological reaction to Baiya. Baiya arrived at the Discipline Inspection Commission. She reapplied her lipstick in the washroom. There weren't many people in the Discipline Inspection Commission, so the director introduced her to his subordinates. She went through the pre-employment procedures and took the oath. Baya didn't waste any time and went straight to the director's office. What's wrong? Baya. The director looked at Baya in confusion. I remember that the Commission for Discipline Inspection has a rule that allows cross-city and cross-provincial supervision, Baya said. In order to prevent local officials from protecting each other, there is indeed such a rule. The director nodded and said. I want to be transferred to Jinyang City, Baya said firmly. The bureau chief looked at Baya and asked suspiciously, you want to go to Jinyang City so badly? Do you have any news? Baya nodded. I have news. If I go to Jinyang City and make a contribution, it will also be considered as an achievement for the bureau chief, right? I don't have the final say on which province or city to supervise. I need to apply to the higher-ups. Also, I need to give a detailed reason for the specific province or city. Can you give me the reason? Who are you going to apply to? Su Zheng. Baya wasn't sure about the process. I don't need to apply to Deputy Chief Su. It's a director in the National Commission for Discipline Inspection. In other words, as long as the director gives his approval, I can go there directly. Baya asked. Theoretically, yes. However, his rank is the same as your father's. He might not give face to your father. The director's words revealed that he knew Baya's identity. I'll go out and make a call. Baya nodded and walked out of the director's office. She had read a book before. There was a young man who was blocked by a huge rock. He pushed, pried, and smashed the rock, but he couldn't move it. In the end, he was at his wit's end and started asking for help from everyone he met. With the help of many people, the rock was finally moved. When one's life was in a hopeless situation and they couldn't solve it themselves, they would try their best to ask for help. Perhaps they didn't even know if the other party could help them, but at least they would ask for help. It was hope. Baya called Song Shiyu. Previously, Song Shiyu said that she would make it up to her, but she rejected it. That was how people were. Sometimes, in the face of reality, one's backbone was like a fart. It was insignificant. Song Shiyu was surprised when she received Baya's call. After all, Baya had disappeared for 2 months. She got someone to check. Baya had entered Xing Bachuan's house. She found out that Baya had another identity. She was the daughter of Xing Bachuan's ex-wife. At the same time, she looked into Baya's past. Hello. Song Shiyu greeted her politely. You once told me that if I needed help, I could look for you. Do you mean it? Baya asked uncertainly. If it's within my ability, Song Shiyu promised. I'm working in the Discipline Inspection Department now. I want to be transferred to the Discipline Inspection Department in Jinyang City. This needs a director in the Discipline Inspection Department. Can you help me talk to him? Baya asked calmly. Sure, it's a small matter. I'll call you in the afternoon after I'm done, Song Shiyu agreed readily. Thank you. Baya was about to hang up. Did Gu Lingqing contact you? Song Shiyu asked immediately. Hearing the name Gu Lingqing, Baya's heart still ached. She lowered her eyes and said calmly, he won't contact me. Don't worry, Mrs. Gu. He must know that we kidnapped you. Now he ignores us, doesn't answer our calls, and doesn't even go home. Tianheng went to the military to look for him, but he refused to see her. I heard that he went to take on a dangerous mission again. He's going to kill himself, Song Shiyu said worriedly. Baya's heart ached even more. She closed her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks quietly. If she hadn't been strong enough to know the news of Gu Lingqing's death, she wouldn't have lived alone. He was her strong, hard-working, and desperate motivation. Mrs. Gu, there's nothing I can do. Baya's words were still cold, without any warmth. Moreover, I don't understand the meaning of your words. I misspoke. I'm sorry. I'll call someone for help now. I'll contact you later. As soon as Song Shiyu finished speaking, Baya hung up the phone. She was caught off guard. It made sense. She had hurt the girl so deeply. What did she want Baya to do now? Song Shiyu was reliable. At 11:00 in the afternoon, Baya received a call from Song Shiyu. They've agreed. You can ask your director to approve the application today. You can go to Jinyang City for discipline inspection tomorrow, Song Shiyu said with a smile. Thank you. Baya was still cold. She hung up the phone and went straight to the director's office. Director, the higher-ups have agreed. You can apply now, Baya said. The director didn't think that Xing Bachuan had the ability to get help from the higher-ups so quickly. This Baya had a more powerful force supporting her than Xing Bachuan. He didn't want to offend Baya and ruin his future, so he applied immediately. I've contacted the director in Jinyang City. I'll ask someone to book a plane ticket for you now. Tomorrow, they'll send someone to pick you up. If there's any situation, report it in time. I'll try my best to cooperate with you, the director said politely. Baya nodded and walked out of the director's office. She took the second step smoothly. Chapter 113. The director was very helpful and booked a 17:20 p.m. flight to Jinyang City for her. Baya went back to the Xing family to pack her small luggage. Xing Jinyan didn't go to work today. When she saw Baya dragging her luggage, she went forward to stop Baya. Where are you going? I don't need to report to you where I am going. Get out of my way, Baya said coldly. Jiran is going to America for a business trip today. Are you going there too? Xing Jinyan was suspicious and anxious. Baya laughed. Xing Jinyan, have you lost yourself? Where's your confidence? Where's your charm? Are you afraid that you, a rich missy, will lose to someone like me who has nothing? How could I lose my confidence? Jiran built a new company and gave it to me. I am the legal representative and the boss of the company. The company is valued at a few billion now. Why would I be afraid of losing to you? Xing Jinyan said sarcastically. I am just reminding you not to overestimate yourself. Then live your life well. Don't worry, as long as you don't target me, I have no interest in ruining your peaceful life. Baya walked past Xing Jinyan and got into a taxi. Xing Jinyan was still worried. She drove and followed behind Baya. Su Jiran was very nice to her. He gave her the company and doted on her. But Su Jiran didn't want to have sex with her. She always suspected that Su Jiran was having a good time outside. But when she asked someone to investigate, Su Jiran didn't have a girlfriend outside. She felt that the only person who could satisfy Su Jiran was Baya. Xing Jinyan followed Baya to the airport. She called Su Jiran. Jiran, are you at the airport? I'm on the way. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Why? Do you miss me? Su Jiran smiled devilishly. I want to go with you, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. Su Jiran's eyes flashed with irritation. Previously, when he was with Baya, no matter what he did, Baya would not question him. He didn't like being stared at or pestered by women all the time. Give him a little more time, and his plan will come true. Sure, I'll send someone to pick you up. Su Jiran looked out of the window with flagging interest. Moi. Xing Jinyan hung up the phone. She bought a hat, put on a pair of glasses, and stared at Baya. Baya was reading in the bookstore. She was flipping through the psychology of microexpressions and felt that it was a good book. After paying, she took the book and entered the cafe. She ordered a cup of Blue Mountain and watched quietly. Xing Jinyan saw that Baya did not answer the phone, which meant that Su Jiran did not call her. Logically speaking, if Su Jiran and Baya had made an appointment, he would definitely inform Baya not to go since she had already said that she would come to the United States. It seemed that she was thinking too much. Why are you here? Su Jiran looked at the sneaky Xing Jinyan in surprise. When Xing Jinyan heard Su Jiran's voice, she smiled sweetly and took off her glasses. I wanted to give you a surprise. I'm sorry, I'm only surprised, not happy. My man has already gone to pick you up at home. If you're not at home, who will he pick up? Su Jiran was a little annoyed, and his tone became a little harsh. He dialed a number. You don't need to pick him up. From the corner of his eyes, he saw Baya sitting in the cafe. The cafe was very romantic. There was a lamp in front of Baya. The orange light of the lamp fell on her delicate face. Quiet shadow, auspicious and beautiful. Looking at it, it was like a light ink painting. A cold light flashed through Su Jiran's charming eyes. Now he knew why Xing Jinyan suddenly appeared at the airport and told him that she was at home. She was testing him. Su Jiran's lips curled up coldly. He looked at the idiotic Xing Jinyan. Are you still going to America? Yes, I want to go over and take care of you. Xing Jinyan held Su Jiran's arm. Su Jiran walked towards the ticket office. Subconsciously, he turned back to look at Baya. She didn't notice them and was quietly reading her book. Something was flowing in his heart. Baya arrived at Jinyang City at 18:30 p.m. Jinyang City's Discipline Inspection Commission sent someone to pick her up. It was a man and a woman who came to pick her up. The name tag was Baya. Baya walked towards them. Hello, I'm Baya. I didn't expect Inspector Bai to be so beautiful. Our bureau chief has arranged a dinner. I'm going to bring Inspector Bai over now. I'm Yang Li, you can call me Xiao Yang. He's Yang Yan, you can call him Lao Yang. Baya smiled. From now on, I'll have to trouble you guys. No, it's what I should do. I wonder who Chief Inspector Bai is investigating this time. Yang Li smiled and asked tentatively. I'm just looking around. It's a routine inspection. It's a normal procedure, Baya looked at Yang Li and said. Yang Li's eyes were sparkling. I heard from the bureau chief that you came here from nowhere. We didn't know about it beforehand. We're guessing that you already have a target. Not yet. Maybe we'll find one as we investigate, Baya said ambiguously. They got into the car and went to the most unique restaurant in Jinyang City, Full Moon Restaurant. Our Full Moon Restaurant is the oldest restaurant in Jinyang City. There is a lianli tree in the restaurant. Its roots are intertwined. It has a history of hundreds of years. Many young men and women come here to make wishes. It is said that it is very effective. Inspector Bai is so young. I don't think she's married. Do you want to try? Yang Li said enthusiastically. Baya smiled. Tell me about the big cases you've solved in the past few years. I'm more interested in this. Prosecutor Bai is really a workaholic. Our Jinyang City is quite peaceful. The people are simple and honest. The people live and work in peace and contentment. It's a city with a slower pace of life. Oh yes, you just arrived. Let me introduce you to a few famous streets and scenic spots here. Yang Li looked outside. Baya nodded. She didn't force it. Yang Li was eloquent and smart. Her words and actions were flawless. No wonder the Jinyang Procuratorate sent her to pick them up. However, Baya vaguely heard some problems from her evasiveness and her deliberate avoidance of taboo topics. She didn't say anything. She looked at the ancient and mysterious Jinyang City with gloomy eyes. After driving for half an hour, they arrived at Full Moon Restaurant. There weren't many people in the private room. There were only 3 of them. Zhong Tong, the finance officer of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Li Yu, the judge of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Tsing Shuaing, the disciplinary director of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Yang Li introduced them to Baya. There weren't many people here, but they were all the backbone of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Our bureau chief isn't here yet? Yang Li asked as she helped Baya to pull out the chair. The bureau chief is very busy. It's not like you don't know that. He'll probably be here in half an hour. Tsing Shuang smiled and explained. Then I'll bring Inspector Bai to the interlocking tree to make a wish. Yang Li pulled Baiya to the interlocking tree in the courtyard. The interlocking tree was full of wooden signs. There were bells hanging under the wooden signs. There was a red light on the left of the interlocking tree and a street lamp on the right. Ah, the name on this person's wooden sign is the same as yours. Yang Li said excitedly. Chapter 114. Baiya's heart skipped a beat as she looked at the wooden sign. There was no signature on the wooden sign, but the handwriting was strong. She could tell that it was Gu Lingqing's handwriting. He wrote it today, Yang Li said in surprise. Baiya's eyes were covered with a layer of mist. She looked down, trying to hide the emotions in her eyes. What's wrong, Inspector Bai? Yang Li asked. Do you have a pen and a wooden sign? I want to be alone for a while. Baiya tried to calm herself down. Oh, yes. Yang Li took out a pen and a wooden board from her bag and passed them to Baiya. Baiya sat under the tree and wrote on the board, I won't forgive you. Protect me. She didn't write a name or a date. She hung it next to Gu Lingqing's sign and stared at it. The two boards were leaning against each other, swaying with the wind. She didn't expect him to come to Jinyang City. Was he here to investigate Luliang City? When she returned to the office, Chief Jin of Jinyang City was already there. He was in his 50s, burly, and had a restrained smile. He extended his hand to Baiya and shook it firmly. Welcome, leader. I don't deserve to be called a leader. The higher-ups asked me to come here to follow the procedure and cooperate with each other. Baiya smiled. Prosecutor Bai is very young. How long have you been a prosecutor? Chief Jin asked. Age is not the key to ambition. You just need to have the heart to work in the discipline inspection, Baiya said ambiguously. Yes, yes. Prosecutor Bai is indeed young and promising. We will definitely cooperate with you during the supervision period. Please take a seat. Chief Jin smiled. Actually, Baiya's position was not high. She was just a soldier in the military flag, but a soldier could eat up the military flag. Although she was just an ordinary member of the Discipline Inspection Department, she would definitely be warmly received by the Discipline Inspection Department of another city and be treated like a queen. Her feedback was very important. Halfway through the meal, Chief Jin received a call. Alright, that's good. You have to take good care of him. He's Deputy Chief Su's future son-in-law. In the future, you just have to say the word. Alright, I'll come over now. When Baiya heard the words Deputy Chief Su's future son-in-law, he clenched his cup so tightly that his fingernails turned white. Well, I'm sorry. I'll go over to propose a toast. Chief Jin raised his glass. Yang Li took advantage of the situation and held the bottle of wine. Chief, let me accompany you. Men and women work together, and it will not be tiring. Let's go together. Chief Jin walked in front of Wang Yao. Is Deputy Chief Su's future son-in-law Deputy Chief Gu's son? Zhong Tong asked Tsing Shuang. Yeah, I saw him on TV last time. He's very, very handsome. His facial features are absolutely beautiful. He's even better looking than the male lead in idol dramas. Most importantly, he has a good temperament and a strong aura. One look from him is enough to determine the outcome of a battle, Tsing Shuang said with admiration. No wonder that little girl, Yang Li, rushed to see it. Why don't we go and take a look as well? Prosecutor Bai, let's go together. Tsing Shuang raised her wine glass and suggested. Baiya's eyes were slightly red. No, I'm a little drunk. I want to go back and rest early. Go back and rest. Old Yang, you didn't drink. Send Prosecutor Bai back. Tsing Shuang instructed Yang Yan. Sure. Yang Yan picked up the clothes hanging on the chair. Remember to take good care of him, Li Yu instructed. Yes. Prosecutor Bai, let's go. Yang Yan led the way. Baya left with her head lowered. She still did not know how she should face Gu Lingqing if she saw him. She was afraid of hurting his heart, and even more afraid of hurting her own heart. Yang Yan sent Baya to the best 6-star hotel in Jinyang City. Your prosecutor's dormitory is so good. Baya was surprised as she got out of the car. You came in a hurry. Our prosecutor's dormitory doesn't have any empty rooms, so it's not appropriate for others to move in. This hotel has an agreement with our prosecutor's office, and the rent isn't expensive, Yang Yan explained. Baya was indeed a little tired. She didn't refuse and followed Old Yang into the hall. Old Yang showed his identification and said in a low voice, I'm from the Discipline Inspection Institute. I want a presidential suite. I don't need to register. I'll stay here for a month. Yes. The receptionist swiped the card and handed it to Yang Yan. She said respectfully, it's on the 18th floor, room 1829. Prosecutor Bai, it's done. This way please. Old Yang walked in front and reached the 18th floor. There was a special room manager on the 18th floor who was already standing at the elevator to welcome them. Room 1829, Old Yang said. This way please, the room manager said with a smile. She brought Baya to the room and pushed the door open respectfully. If you have any needs, you can call the internal line 1800. We will serve you 24 hours a day. There are specific service items on the bedside table in the room. You can tell us if you have any requests, the room manager said gently. Her voice was so pleasant that it made people feel as if they were immersed in spring. Thank you, Baya said. Then, Prosecutor Bai, I won't disturb your rest. I'll come to pick you up at 8 tomorrow, Yang Yan said with a smile. Baya nodded. Thank you. Yang Yan left with a smile and closed the door for Baya. Baya glanced at the presidential suite of the 6-star hotel. There were 3 rooms, a hall, and a sky garden. One room was for sleeping, one was for the bathroom, and the last was for the gym. There were fitness machines inside. There was no bed in the living room. There was a huge sofa. Opposite the sofa was a 72-inch HD TV. Beside the TV was a sound system. It was a host that could directly order songs. Behind the sofa was a wine cabinet. There were many expensive wines in the cabinet. The flowers in the room were picked in the morning and were very fresh. There was a computer in the bedroom and there were birth control products on the bedside table. On the side was a huge wardrobe. She realized that the bedroom and bathroom could be connected. The bathtub was very big, 2 meters by 2 meters. It was a hot spring style with a full massage. The cosmetics on the shelf were all Chanel brands. Usually, they were luxuries, but here, they were daily necessities. She took off her clothes and entered the bathtub. She chose the mist bath and massage function. The water vapor quickly filled the bathtub. She was submerged in the mist. The water column below her body was very comfortable. Baya understood why those rich people liked to live in 6-star presidential suites. It was indeed a luxurious enjoyment. From the attitude of the Jinyang City Procuratorate towards her, she felt that there was a big problem with this procuratorate. Baya closed her eyes. In a daze, she heard the door close and opened her eyes. The bathroom door was pushed open. Gu Lingqing looked at her in the bathtub and was slightly shocked. His eyes were deep and moved like waves. He looked at her and said uncertainly, Baya. Chapter 115. Gu Lingqing confirmed that she was really Baya. His eyes darkened, as if the mist had condensed, dark and profound. How long had it been since he last saw her? 65 days. They met in summer, and when they met again, it was already late autumn. Are you okay? Gu Lingqing asked in a hoarse voice. When he asked, his voice was already choked. Baya unconsciously looked at his broken finger, and her eyes were a little wet. She didn't know how to hide her emotions now, so she turned her face away and said coldly, "Is it appropriate to talk about the old days now? Don't fall into someone else's trap." "I'm in. It's a trap, and I can't avoid it anymore." Gu Lingqing sat by the bathroom, staring at her, and didn't intend to leave. "You've lost weight. Isn't it said that skinny beauty is popular? I think you look better when you're a little fatter," Gu Lingqing said lightly. Baya lowered her head. After all, she didn't wear clothes, and it was very uncomfortable to chat like this. With their current relationship, it was not appropriate to chat, let alone like this. "I figured it out." Baya's eyes twinkled. "I'll wait for you outside." Gu Lingqing turned around and went out. Baya smelled the strong smell of alcohol on him. She thought that this room was only for her, so she took off her clothes and didn't bring in a change of clothes. She stood up to get a bath towel. Gu Lingqing carried the suitcase in his hand, pushed the door open, and looked at her with his deep eyes. Baya was stunned in the distance. Gu Lingqing looked away. Baya didn't panic, and she didn't scream. Anyway, he had seen it before. She wrapped the bath towel around herself. Gu Lingqing carried her suitcase in. "I found that you don't have a change of clothes." "It's rude of me." Baya responded. Gu Lingqing closed the door. When Baya changed her clothes and went out, Gu Lingqing was standing by the window. His handsome face was reflected in the window. She saw the sadness in his eyes that he didn't hide. He also looked at her through the reflection of the window. However, when he turned around, he hid his emotions. "I just called to ask." Because this room was requested by the procuratorate, it wasn't registered. The receptionist at the front desk changed and didn't know that this room was already occupied. "They are now changing my room. It's next to yours, 1827. Gu Lingqing explained. Baya looked down, quiet, and very distant. Gu Lingqing stared at her. His Adam's apple bobbed, and he swallowed his bitterness. His gaze deepened. "How did you become a prosecutor?" Gu Lingqing, Baya looked up, her eyes lingering on his face, and said meaningfully, "Change your job, change your mood, change your environment, and change your life." He wanted to say, yeah, he. He had a lot of things to say to her, but they were all stuck in his throat. He's good. Xing Bachuan contributed a lot to becoming a prosecutor, being transferred here to be a supervisor, living in a luxurious house, and enjoying the flattery of others, Baya said simply, with the corners of her mouth raised. She didn't want him to worry. "Are you here to investigate Luliang City?" Gu Lingqing asked directly. Baya didn't deny it. "I think he's one of the executioners who killed the villagers." "Do you know why you can stay in such a good room?" "I'm already on their boat." "They're setting a trap for me," Baya guessed. She poured some water and saw that there was honey. She put the honey in and passed it to Gu Lingqing. "You've drunk wine. Don't drink tea water. It's not good for your health. Water with some honey can relieve your headache," Baya said. Gu Lingqing took the glass of water from Baya, took a sip, looked at her, and said in a low voice after a few seconds of silence, "Since you know it's a boat, how are you going to escape?" "I think it's too dangerous. I can arrange for you to study in a hospital abroad and come back in 2 years. I should have solved everything by then." "Solved what?" Baya also poured herself a glass of water and took a sip. 2 years later, she would still be an ordinary doctor. She didn't think that Gu Lingqing's family would accept her. Without Su Shaoling, there would be another Su Shaoling. "You should know what I'm talking about, right?" Gu Lingqing looked at her with burning eyes. Baya's eyes became cold. She didn't look at him, but she said with certainty, "I know what kind of life I want." "Chief Gu, you're overstepping your bounds. You really don't plan for me anymore in your life?" Gu Lingqing asked in a deep voice. Baya's heart tightened, and she felt a little pain. She didn't answer him directly. She walked to the door, opened the door, and said resolutely, "I'm going to sleep. Don't make people suspicious. 1 finger is the price, and I can't afford the consequences." Gu Lingqing frowned and walked out of the door. She looked calm, and her fists were clenched tightly. She walked out of her room. Baya closed the door. He said that he would arrange for her to study abroad. He said that she would wait for him for 2 years. She understood his unspoken words. Baya smiled, but tears rolled down her cheeks. "Gu Lingqing, let alone 2 years, I will wait for you for 20 years. She didn't sleep, but studied the history of Jinyang City on the internet. Jinyang City was an ancient city. In ancient times, this city was the imperial city of several emperors. There were several generations of history hidden under this ancient city. To put it bluntly, there were antiques everywhere under the ground. The whole city was full of antique flavor, and it was a tourist attraction. With the help of geologists, historians, and archaeologists, the country designated the Cultural Protection Area of Jinyang City. In the Cultural Protection Area, no one was allowed to dig. Outside the protection area, the economy could be developed vigorously. Baya didn't think it was that simple. She checked and found that the hotel she stayed in belonged to the Jinyang city government. A city used such a luxurious hotel for the relevant people to live in for free. How much financial expenditure was it? Could it be that this was their nest? She should really be on the pirate ship. What should she plan for the next step? Baya had a headache thinking about it. She walked to the sky garden. The moonlight was bright and cold. It passed through her clothes and fell on her skin. The coolness made her more rational. She saw something moving in the corner of her eyes. She looked to the right. There was a person, who seemed to have just woken up, climbing up from the ground. He was covered in blood, and there was a knife in his chest. He walked towards her. "Help me!" Baya screamed, thinking that it was a prank. The man fell straight in front of Baya, and his hand was still on Baya's foot. She checked his breath. There was no breath. Gu Lingqing heard Baya's voice. He rushed to the sky garden without thinking and crossed over. He didn't consider that it was the 18th floor. If he fell down, he would die. Chapter 116. No matter how rational Baya was, it was too sudden. She was scared and held Gu Lingqing's hand. How could someone suddenly die here? Gu Lingqing's eyes tightened. He said urgently, "Someone is framing you." Bang, bang, bang. The door outside was knocked open. "Gu Lingqing, leave now. Otherwise, they will suspect that the person broke our relationship. If they want to blame someone, they can always find a pretext," Baya said urgently. "Xiaoya, do you trust me?" Gu Lingqing asked coldly. "Yes," Baya said without hesitation. The security guards of the hotel rushed in and went directly to the Airview Garden. "Sir, a dead person was found in the Airview Garden, but the murderer was not found," the security captain reported through the walkie-talkie. He frowned and glanced around the room. Then he ordered his subordinates, "Search my room." "What are you doing here?" Gu Lingqing walked in and said harshly. "There was a murder in this room. Irrelevant people should stay away from here," the security captain said angrily. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes. He grabbed the security captain's neck and pressed it against the door. A cold light suddenly appeared. The security captain didn't even have a chance to struggle. "Who are you to yell at me? If there was a murder, a security guard like you can't handle it, right?" Gu Lingqing said coldly. The security captain's face turned pale. Gu Lingqing shook off the security captain and made a phone call. He ordered, "Call the Jinyang Police Department. There was a murder in room 1829 of Jinyang Hotel. Tell them to come here in 30 minutes. Hearing Gu Lingqing making a phone call, the security captain's face turned even darker. "Sir, we didn't find the guest in this room," a subordinate of the security team reported. The security captain frowned. Let's go out first. Gu Lingqing stood straight at the door. It's better to wait for the police to come. We can talk about it together. 10 minutes later, Baya came out of the elevator with her hair wet. She walked to the door and said in surprise, "Why are you in my room?" When the security guard saw Baya, his eyes widened. He looked at the sky garden and then at Baya. His eyes flickered and he lowered his head. What happened? The security director also came over. Director, someone died in room 1829, but there's no murderer. It's too strange, the security captain reported. The head of security glanced at Baya and ordered, check the surveillance. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes. His gaze was sharp as he scrutinized the security director. The police will handle this matter. The head of security immediately lowered his head. Yes, yes. Half an hour later, the director of the Jinyang City Police Department, the investigation team, the hotel manager, the head of security, the captain, Gu Lingqing, and Baya were all in the surveillance room. They looked at the video. Baya checked in at 2012. Gu Lingqing entered Baya's room at 2020 and left Baya's room at 2030. The video was blank from 2110 to 2140. At 2141, the security guard rushed into Baya's room and found someone dead. At 2151, Baya came back. Madam Baya, what were you doing from 2110 to 2140? The police asked Baya. After Mr. Gu left, I was surfing the internet. Because I'm a prosecutor who was transferred to Jinyang City, I need to understand the culture of Jinyang City. You can check all the records of my surfing. At about 21:30, I felt a little tired. I saw the hotel's garden and swimming pool on the hotel's website. I went down the stairs to the swimming pool, Baya explained calmly. The surveillance at the swimming pool should be separate, right? The police asked the security director. Yes, it's separate, the security director said and showed the video. Baya appeared at the swimming pool at 21:42. She swam 2 laps and left. Why did you only swim 2 laps? The police asked. The water wasn't clean, Baya said. Police officer, please find the murderer. How could he die in my sky garden? It's too mysterious. We will follow up on the details, the police said with a troubled look. The security director's face was pale. How could such a thing happen? Didn't you notice that the surveillance was missing for half an hour? The police asked the security director suspiciously. Today, one of us is celebrating a birthday. So, we booked a room and had a birthday party at 1729. We registered it with my ID. I called the person on duty over to eat a cake and then went back to work, the security director explained. Oh yeah, when we were in room 1729, we heard a woman scream in room 1829. So, I brought my men and rushed over immediately, the security director said. What time was it when you heard the scream? The police asked with a sharp sense of professionalism. I took a look at my watch. I'm pretty sure it was at 21:30. Also, I'm pretty sure it was a woman's voice. All of us heard it, the security director said and looked at Baya with a weird gaze. Baya glanced at the security director. You mean that I killed that man? Police officer, let me make an assumption. Let me assume this. The man came to find the white heroine at 21:10, and the white heroine killed him within 20 minutes. Then, she screamed at 21:30. We rushed in at 20:41, and she rushed to the swimming pool at 20:30 to create an alibi. Baya laughed. Come on, that man was strong and strong. Would I be his opponent? Also, I don't even know who he is. Why did he come to find me? Why would I kill him? What if you give him something like a drug first? It's also possible to kill him with one stab. The security captain said confidently. Gu Lingqing frowned, and a sharp light flashed across his eyes. The door was pushed open. His colleague from the forensics department came in and reported to the director, we found a bottle of XXXX in the room. We're going back to dissect the body to determine if he died from a dagger or poison. See, I told you. The security director stood up excitedly. You mean she killed someone and purposely screamed to lure you over? Gu Lingqing said coldly. She purposely created an alibi, the security director said with certainty. If she could even create an alibi, why would she purposely leave the poison behind? Also, I heard the scream next door at 21:39. It doesn't match with the 21:30 that you said. Also, I heard the scream not long after that. About 1 or 2 minutes later, I heard the sound of the door next door being slammed. Why did you lie? Are you the murderer? Gu Lingqing questioned. The security director's face turned pale. He argued, maybe my watch is broken. Chapter 117. I'm not lying, I'm not. The security captain opened his eyes wide and promised the police. He turned his eyes and pointed at Gu Lingqing. I know why you framed me. It must be that you and Madame Bai had an affair, and someone saw it. So, you decided to kill her. Are you a mad dog? You bite anyone you see, Bai said angrily. Gu Lingqing calmed down a lot. Please use your logic to think normally. If it's a murder, there's no need to prepare poison. With my skills, I can do it without anyone noticing. Why would you find out? Gu Lingqing said sarcastically. By the way, I understand. You must have fed him the poison first. He didn't die, so you stabbed him. Ms. Bai is timid and screamed. She screamed. It only took you 1 minute to catch up from the 17th floor. You said you heard the time was 30 minutes, and it was 41 minutes when you came in. Excuse me, what were you doing in the past 11 minutes? Gu Lingqing looked at the hotel manager coldly. Besides me, there are other people in room 1729. Is there anyone living near room 1829? I'll check. The hotel manager was trembling. Follow 3 police officers. If there's anyone nearby, bring them here for questioning. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. He looked at the security captain sharply. The security captain had nowhere to retreat. He ordered the director, give me an interrogation room. I think the murderer has been identified. I'm not the murderer. Even if you're a high-ranking official, you can't simply frame people. The security captain looked at the director. The director's face was pale. If you have anything, just confess. Don't frame the innocent. Ms. Bai is innocent. You'll kill many people. Gu Lingqing frowned. He knocked on the table with his well-defined hands. He looked at the director slowly and curled his lips. The director felt a chill down his spine. His hands were trembling. After a while, the police brought the guests from room 1727 and 1731 over. I don't remember the time, but I heard a woman scream and the sound of the door knocking. The interval was less than 2 minutes. The guest from room 1727 said. I remember that the door was knocked on at 21:41. I took a look at the time, and I also heard the woman scream. It was probably the guest in room 2. The security captain slumped on the chair and lowered his head. There's no need to interrogate him. I killed him. He's the curator of the cultural center. I owe him 200,000 yuan. I lost it in gambling. I arranged to meet him in room 1929. When I saw that we were almost at the hotel, I encouraged the director to invite my colleagues from the monitoring room over for cake. I took the opportunity to go out and cut the surveillance camera. I poisoned him, but I was afraid that he wasn't completely dead, so I stabbed him again. Then, with his body tied up, he fell to room 1829. Then, I went to the security room to restore the monitor. I pretended that nothing had happened and returned to room 1729. As soon as I got in, I heard a scream from the second floor. I took my men and dashed to room 1829. I wanted to frame the guest there. I asked my colleagues to check the room and took the opportunity to put the poison in the wine cabinet. The plan is flawless. Take him away. Gu Lingqing nodded and glanced at the door. Chief Gu, you're amazing. It's so flawless. It took you less than an hour to complete such a meticulously planned case, the director complimented. Gu Lingqing pursed his lips, and his eyes were filled with hidden emotions. The case wasn't solved, but the security captain was the scapegoat, and the murderer was still at large. Ms. Bai, right? I still have some doubts that I want to ask you. Come with me, Gu Lingqing said harshly and walked out of the door. It was cold outside, and no one was allowed to enter. Baiya lowered his head and followed behind Gu Lingqing, getting into his black Hummer. Xiaoya, you can't stay here. It's too dangerous, Gu Lingqing said urgently as soon as he got in the car. I'm not afraid of danger. Haven't you seen it yet? Today's trap was set up for you. The security captain and security director were all involved. Who's the person above them? Who's the one hiding behind them? We don't know. If I wasn't here today, you would have been locked up for murder. Gu Lingqing's eyes were red. Baiya was a little scared when she thought of it now. Fortunately, Gu Lingqing took her away from the sky garden and put her down with a rope. If she was caught on the scene, there was poison as evidence. She couldn't explain herself. I'll be more careful in the future. I won't let them take advantage of me again. Baiya promised. It's impossible to guard against. Gu Lingqing approached Baiya. He put one hand on the side of her head, enveloped her in his breath, and looked at her with burning eyes. Baiya, tell me, what do you want? I'll give it to you. You can leave here, be your doctor, or go abroad. Don't let me worry, Gu Lingqing said seriously. The pressure was very strong, and no one could refuse. Can you really give me what I want? Baiya gritted her teeth and asked with resentment. Her eyes were as red as blood, staring at him. I can even give you my life, Gu Lingqing promised. His eyes were firm. The fog spread in her eyes. Her heart hurt, as if a thorn had drilled into it. She would hurt if she touched it. She didn't want his life. She only wanted him. That was her plan. She would be a prosecutor first. She had Xing Bachuan and Song Shiyu as her backstage. As long as she made contributions, she could be promoted step by step. She was risking her life. She wanted to enter the cabinet and have an important position. That way, she could easily stand by his side. Even if she was not qualified to be his wife, at least she could stand close to him. She knew that if that day came, she would have to spend a very, very long time and put in a lot of effort. However, it was still better than doing nothing. She could go abroad and escape all the suffering. She had left him a mess to clean up. If she was lucky, he would marry her after he succeeded. She would sit on his blood and enjoy his achievements and glory. Baiya, who didn't do anything, wasn't worthy of his love and effort. If she was unlucky, he wouldn't succeed. They would miss each other forever. She didn't even have the luxury of seeing him. She didn't care what the future would be. At least she worked hard now. When she died in the future, at least she would have a clear conscience. She didn't let him down. There are things that I should do and things that I shouldn't do in life. I'll do what I think is right. Retreating is not something that I, Baiya, will do. If I die in the hands of those people one day, use legal means to take revenge for me. Baiya pushed the door open with tears streaming down her face. Gu Lingqing held her hand and pressed her against the chair. His hard chest pressed against hers. Baiya saw the panic and pain in his eyes. He was always cold, sharp, and a man of steel, but in front of her, he showed his soft side. Chapter 118. Baiya looked at him with reddened eyes. His handsome face was reflected in her eyes. She didn't like him. She loved him. She had never liked someone so much. She wanted to give her all for him and do her best to be with him. Whether I like him or not, it won't change our relationship, Baya said rationally. So, Xiaoya, you like him, right? Gu Lingqing held her hand tightly. Her answer was very important to him. It was a ray of light in his gloomy life. Baya's eyes flickered. She didn't answer. Gu Lingqing was excited. He kissed her on the lips. His kiss was very deep and fierce. It was as if he had integrated all his thoughts for the past 2 months into this kiss. Her heart was bitter and sour. He lifted her chin and kissed her again and again. She knew that she should reject him. She should be stubborn. She should follow the path that she had planned. But her heart softened. Some emotions and desires couldn't be controlled by reason. Baya held his arm tightly. She closed her eyes and didn't kiss him back. But she didn't push him away. She felt his breath on her face. It was unyielding, yet it was cold and clear. She really liked him. She liked his preference for her. She liked the wooden sign he wrote. Even his kiss, she liked it. Unconsciously, she touched the spot where his finger was cut off. Her heart was stabbed by something. It hurt very much. She couldn't fall. She pushed him away and met his clear eyes. I'm going in. Do you still want to stay? Gu Lingqing frowned and looked at her. Gu Lingqing, what does the Baya you like look like? Baya asked. Her tears fell. He lowered his head and kissed her tears. It was salty. He pressed the back of her head and pressed his forehead against hers. 3 years ago, he touched her. He found out about her information and understood her past. Heartache and pity stayed in his heart. In the past 3 years, he thought of her occasionally. She and her husband should be happy. She was so beautiful, so strong, so independent and smart. Until a few months ago, he received a request for backup from the armed forces. They didn't say it clearly. He thought that the hostage was Baya, so he came personally. When he came, he found out that it wasn't Baya, but her husband's past woman. He felt that she was his responsibility. If her husband didn't treat him well, he would want to replace her. The more he interacted with her, the more he liked her. What he didn't expect was that his love for her would force her into another desperate situation. He wanted to be strong, so strong that no one could restrain him. You don't have to do anything. I'm the one who wants to be what Baya likes. Gu Lingqing's voice was choked up. Yeah, Bai looked at him with red eyes. Go and do what you want to do, don't worry about me. Maybe, if you don me, I'll have some breathing room. You'll wait for me, right? Gu Lingqing wasn't sure. He was confident, flamboyant, domineering, and sharp. Except for his feelings for her. He was afraid that she would give up easily. Time won't stop at this moment. Even if we get married, there will be a divorce. Only a lifetime is the longest confession. Don't make promises easily, I don't make promises easily. Baya opened the car door and got out. Gu Lingqing punched the door hard. Time won't stop at this moment. Even if we get married, there will be a divorce. Only a lifetime is the longest confession. Was she hinting at something? Baya went back and stayed in room 1829. Running away wasn't a solution. If those people wanted to deal with her, even if she stayed in another room, they would still do it. She needed this room to remind her that she wasn't safe. What she had to do was to protect herself. It was obvious that someone wanted to harm her. There were people here who didn't want her to be there. She couldn't rule out the possibility of collusion. Baya's phone rang. She opened it and saw that it was from Gu Lingqing. Tomorrow, I will send someone to protect you. They will come in the name of B City's Procuratorate to assist and cooperate with you. This message was like a boulder, fiercely striking her heart. Her heart was trembling violently. After Gu Lingqing sent the message, he walked to the bathroom. Since he told her to leave and she didn't want to leave, then he would do his best to let her do what she wanted to do. Gu Lingqing walked to the bathroom. He heard some sounds, turned around, and walked quickly to the sky garden. Bai Ye had just crawled over. His eyes were flickering, and his voice was hoarse. He couldn't suppress his excitement. Xiao Ye. Bai Ye rushed towards Gu Lingqing, hugged his waist, buried her face in his chest, and cried. His text message had destroyed all the pretense and defenses she had put up for the past 2 months. Actually, she really missed her. Gu Lingqing's eyes were also misty. He hugged her tightly and put her on the bed. The lamp on the bedside table emitted a faint light that enveloped the two of them. There was a faint warmth, but also a faint sadness. Gu Lingqing's kisses fell on her body. She wrapped her arms around his waist and pulled him in front of her. When he went in, she felt a little pain and frowned slightly. His breathing was heavy. He lifted her chin and looked at her with a burning gaze. He kissed her lips again and again. Comforting her was very useful. She became more and more emotional. She was like a beautiful rose in the morning, blooming under his nurturing. Afterwards, she didn't leave. She lay on his arm and enjoyed the warmth at this moment. Why are you here? Is it official business or private business? Where are Lieutenant Colonel Shang and the others? You didn't bring them. Gu Lingqing placed his palm on her lower abdomen and explained patiently, I have official business in the neighboring city. I'm here for private business. I think the massacre of Tangqian village is related to Luoyang city. He was the mayor back then. Moreover, ever since the massacre of the village, he was promoted quite quickly. It should be because of the benefits. Chief Chen of the armed forces here used to be my comrade. I entrusted him to help me investigate. So, I had a meal with him at the Full Moon restaurant. I didn't expect to meet you here. Bai Ye turned her head to look at him, her eyes sparkling. Are you going to forget me? Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth and looked at her with a burning gaze. Many times, I wanted to look for you. Didn't you say that you wouldn't forgive me? I went to look for you, but I was afraid that you would be in danger. My greatest protection for you was to let you go. So, we should never see each other again, right? Bai Ye choked with sobs. She turned her back, tears flowing down her cheeks. Chapter 119. Bai Ye replied. After resting for a while, she went back to her room. The more people there were, the more mouths there were. They were being watched again, so it was better to be careful. She had just laid on the bed when a message rang. Bai Ye saw that it was from Gu Lingqing. What are you doing? Bai Ye smiled, revealing a sincere smile for the past 2 months. I'm going to sleep, what about you? That's true, together. Bai Ye fell asleep with her phone in her hand. When she woke up and opened her eyes, the sky was already very bright. She looked at the time. 10 o'clock. She was late. She got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, put on makeup, changed into a suit, and went out. She passed by room 1827. The door was tightly shut. Gu Lingqing should have left. She went down to the hall and Yang Yan was already there. Bai Ye nodded politely, I woke up late. Sorry for making you wait. It's okay, I heard that there was a murder case in your room last night. I didn't expect the security captain of this hotel to be such a person, he almost harmed prosecutor Bai, Yang Yan said. Let's go, Bai Ye said calmly and walked in front. They got into the car. Yang Yan turned on the radio, which was broadcasting the real-time traffic. Bai Ye looked out of the window. How long is prosecutor Bai planning to stay? Yang Yan asked. I don't know, it shouldn't be long. After all, my family is in a city. Bai Ye wanted to let their guard down. Yang Yan's lips twitched, there's something that's been spreading in the procuratorate. If prosecutor Bai hears about it, don't be at ease. Bai Ye looked at Yang Yan, what is it? Yang Yan wanted to say something but stopped. They said that prosecutor Bai entered the discipline inspection through the back door. The people above are not small. I got first place in the written test. With my image, I shouldn't be unable to pass the interview. As for the people above, they are indeed not small. Bai said meaningfully. Yang Yan's expression turned ugly. Now, everything depends on relationships. If you don't have any connections, you can only work at the bottom for the rest of your life. Bai said nothing. Previously, she thought that Su Jiran relied on his ability to become the deputy director of the health bureau, but now she knew the relationship between Su Jiran and the president. If it weren't for Gu Lingqing who exposed him, Su Jiran would have become the director of the sanitary bureau in no time. After that, he became the deputy mayor, deputy governor, governor. Step by step, he walked to the side of the president and became the president's right-hand man. The car drove for half an hour before arriving at the prosecutor's office. The Jinyang City Procuratorate was 27 stories high. Its exterior looked bright, beautiful, and magnificent. Is your procuratorate newly built? Bai asked, and followed Yang Yan in. Yeah, I was in the old city district before. I only moved to the development zone the year before last. Yang Yan looked at the time on his wrist. Now, let's get to know our colleagues in the procuratorate. After that, it's time to eat. I heard that there will be a prosecutor coming from B City today. When did our Jinyang City become so popular? Don't be too nervous, it's just a routine matter. Bai followed Yang Yan into the office and met his colleagues from the inspection team. What cases are you guys following now? Bai asked. His colleagues looked at each other, not daring to answer casually. Prosecutor Bai is really serious and responsible. It's almost time for dinner. Little Yang went to pick up the prosecutor from B City. Let's eat together first, we'll talk during dinner. Yang Yan said perfunctorily. Alright, I have to do my work and eat. However, I have to do something today, otherwise I won't be able to explain it to the higher-ups. I think my performance yesterday wasn't good, so the higher-ups sent someone from B City over. Bai joked. Yang Yan's expression turned even worse. So you guys really have a target this time. Indeed. Let's eat first. We'll talk about work in the afternoon. Bai threw Yang Yan's perfunctory words over. Asterisk at the dinner party, she met the prosecutor from B City, Zhou Min. Her skin was dark, her hair was short, and she was thin and small. However, her eyes were sharp. She didn't speak much, and when she did, she only said a few words. She was very straightforward. Bai was probably a special forces soldier planted by Gu Lingqing. During the meal, there were a few awkward moments. At the end of the meal, Zhou Min said to the bureau chief in a serious tone, I have a mission here. I hope you will cooperate with me completely. Yes, of course. However, what is your mission this time? The bureau chief asked with a smile. The higher-ups want to capture someone. It's not convenient for me to reveal the details. Just submit the information according to my requirements. Zhou Min said coldly. Alright, since the higher-ups want to take him, we will definitely cooperate fully. The bureau chief promised. Zhou Min looked at Bai. You are the prosecutor from a city, right? I heard that you are currently living in a 6-star hotel suite. I will move to your place later and work together in the future. The faces of the bureau chief and the others all turned white. It seemed that their every move and action was being watched by the higher-ups. He didn't even dare to make any small moves. Yang Yan and Yang Li sent Zhou Min and Bai to the hotel. Yang Li was still very lively along the way. Bai would even smile and occasionally say some gentle words. Zhou Min pursed her lips and stared at Yang Li. Her eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. Do you guys belong to the same higher-ups? Yang Li asked with a smile. Be serious. What's so funny? Prosecutor Bai and I are both from the procuratorate, and we have our own missions. The people above us are different, and we don't know anything. Stop trying to pry, or you might be the first to be dealt with, Zhou Min said sternly. No matter how good Yang Li's mental fortitude was, she was still defeated. She didn't say anything else and didn't even get off the car after sending them to the hotel. Yang Yan laughed dryly. Little Yang is still young, so it's hard to avoid talking too much. Please forgive me. It doesn't matter if you talk too much, but I'm afraid you don't have a brain. Zhou Min coldly entered the room. It's fine, Prosecutor Zhou is more strict. Baiya patted Yang Yan's shoulder and comforted him. Okay, you guys rest first. I'll come pick you guys up at 2:30 in the afternoon. Yang Yan nodded and left. Baiya entered room 1829 and closed the door. Zhou Min took out an iPad from the box. Open it. The iPad beeped. There were a total of 6 red dots flashing on the screen. Baiya frowned. Zhou Min pressed a button, and the 6 red dots turned into green dots. She put down the iPad, saluted respectfully to Baiya, and reported expressionlessly, I'm number 1666 from the Special Military Region. The leader ordered me to protect your safety and wait for your instructions. This room has already been installed with surveillance cameras and wiretaps. Do you want to clean it up immediately? Oh, clean it up. Baiya didn't get used to it for a moment and said. Baiya's phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing's and immediately answered. Did you see her? Number 1666. Chapter 120. I saw it. It's very harsh, Baiya said with a smile and looked at Zhou Min. Zhou Min flipped through it quickly. When she removed the other party's surveillance, she put in new surveillance and anti-surveillance equipment. Don't worry. Number 1666 has the strongest comprehensive ability. If you have anything, you can ask her to do it, Gu Lingqing said gently. Yes, I know, Baiya replied and walked to the Sky Garden. When you investigate, don't look for the people from the Procuratorate. I suspect that someone from the Procuratorate is colluding with them, Gu Lingqing said suspiciously. I also suspect that. For example, Yang Li and Yang Yan have been asking around along the way. It's normal to ask around. After all, you and Zhou Min went too suddenly. They will be worried about themselves. I think that the problem is with the director. I've given you a team. You just need to instruct number 1666 and she will contact them to do things. Baiya's heart softened when she heard that. He wrote on the wooden sign that he would protect her. It seemed like he had always been protecting her. Where are you now? Baiya asked gently. In the city next to yours. I've already talked to Director Chen of the Armed Forces. He will be your strong support. Whatever you want to do, don't worry. Be bold and do it. I'm here. You be careful too. Your mother said that you're starting to take on dangerous missions again. I'm worried about you. It's not a dangerous mission. It's just something I should do. Do you remember the soldier who lost his leg? Gu Lingqing asked. Yes, the one whose wife wants a divorce. He was injured in a drill. There were many people injured at that time, but his injury was the most serious. I investigated for a long time and found the person who sold this batch of firearms. I'm negotiating now. Baiya listened. She felt that what he was doing was much more dangerous than what she was doing. Don't let anything happen to you. If something happens to you, I won't live alone. Gu Lingqing smiled. Yes, with you here, I don't want anything to happen to me. Baiya's face was slightly red. They were all working hard. This feeling was quite good. Then I'll go do something first. Good luck. Good luck. I'll come to see you in 2 days. Gu Lingqing's tone became much softer. Don't, it's not good if your parents and Su Shaoling find out. I can afford to wait for 2 years. Baiya is worried about him and herself. The broken part of her little finger hurts faintly. If he were to be discovered by them again, the consequences would not be as simple as a severed finger. Gu Lingqing's eyes were deep and gloomy as he hung up the phone. "Sir!" Lieutenant Colonel Shang shouted. Gu Lingqing closed his eyes. "Continue." The special effects makeup artist continued to stick on his mustache. In the afternoon, Bai Ye and Zhou Min went to the procuratorate. She flipped through the cases handled by the procuratorate in recent years. Most of them were small economic cases. They had their eyes on a few state-owned enterprises, and every year, they would arrest a few people to meet the target. These cases were of no practical help to her. "Where's the report letter? Show me this year's report." Bai Ye looked at Xing Shuaing. Xing Shuaing's assistant brought over a pile of letters. Bai Ye and Zhou Min flipped through the letters. Most of them were trivial matters. Some reported their neighbors for stealing electric cables, some reported their girlfriends for cheating on them, and some reported their leaders for asking them to work overtime. Bai Ye scanned through the letters for 2 hours. She looked at Xing Shuaing. "Is that all?" "That's all. Jinyang City is actually quite peaceful. There's no corruption, or major incidents," Xing Shuaing said with a smile. "Don't give me that cheeky look," Zhou Min said sternly. Xing Shuaing looked at Zhou Min, and her face darkened. Bai Ye smiled. "It's a good thing that there are no major incidents. You have to meet the target, and so do we. I'm just afraid that the boss won't dare to speak up. How about this, starting from tomorrow, we will place anonymous report boxes in every market in Jinyang City. Is that okay?" "That's not good. It will make people anxious," Xing Shuaing rejected. "Cut the crap. Just do it. We're doing it for the benefit of the people." "What do you mean by anxious? You're just refusing to cooperate. Are you the problem?" Zhou Min stared at her and scolded. Xing Shuaing was really angry, but she dared not speak up. "All right, we'll do as you say." Bai Ye was worried that the prosecutor's office would stop the residents from reporting. She personally went to every district and made them fill in the notice. She also arranged for people to protect every report box. The task of collecting letters had to be done personally. In a day, there were more than 1,000 letters. Bai Ye and Zhou Min handled the letters and sorted out the problematic ones. "Prosecutor Bai, look at this. This report says that the mayor of Jinyang City is colluding with the developers to demolish their villages and dig up their treasures," Zhou Min said. Bai Ye took the letter from Zhou Min's hands. "Finally found it. There's indeed a problem with Luoyang City. He's the mayor here to dig up cultural relics and sell them or collect them for money. Previously, the cultural center's director was murdered. It might be related to this." Bai Ye analyzed. "Are we going to search Luoyang City's house now?" Zhou Min asked. "Why would he leave the items in his house? Searching a mayor's house with this anonymous report will not only not find anything, but it will also alert the enemy. Let's continue to look around. Once we get the evidence, we can proceed with the next step." Knock knock knock. Someone knocked on the door. Zhou Min opened the door. Yang Li came in with 2 cups of milk tea. She smiled and asked Bai Ye, "Do you need my help?" "No need. Go and do your work," Zhou Min said sternly and was about to close the door. Milk tea, milk tea. I bought it especially for you." Yang Li placed the milk tea on the table and glanced at the table before leaving. Zhou Min closed the door and threw the milk tea into the trash can. "You have a guilty conscience. Zhou Min, what do you think about starting from the antique dealer?" Bai Ye thought and asked. "Sure. We can't go out. We are being watched. Let your comrades help," Bai Ye ordered. "Yes." After being busy for 5 days, there were many reports. Bai Ye drew a relationship map based on the content of the letters. Luoyang City had an archaeology team. They studied the history and culture of Jinyang City and looked for possible ruins. Xingzhen Construction Company was a construction company closely related to Luliang City. Luliang City sold the land that might be ruins to this construction company at a normal price. This construction company was developing on the surface, but they were secretly excavating cultural treasures. Could it be that the location of Tangqian Village's treasure map was in Jinyang City? Baya went back to the hotel with doubts. Zhou Min said she wanted to buy some clothes. When she returned to the room, she was grabbed by a strong arm. Chapter 121. Baya was pleasantly surprised. Why are you here? I'm passing by. I have something to do in the neighboring city tonight, Gu Lingqing explained. She was wondering why Zhou Ji suddenly wanted to buy clothes without her. It turned out that Gu Lingqing was coming. I've made a lot of progress. I've already put the people who smuggled the antiques under surveillance. As long as we catch them one by one, we'll be able to catch the people from Xingzhen Construction Company. Then, someone will be able to rule Luliang City. If we catch Luliang City, we might be able to solve the case of the village massacre, Baya said happily. Zhou Min reported to me. I think that even if someone accused Luliang City, he might not admit to the massacre of the village. One is to go to jail, the other is to be sentenced to death. He is not stupid, unless he finds that gold bar. Gu Lingqing analyzed. I hope we can find the evidence as soon as possible and then we can arrest him. Have you eaten? Baya asked with concern. Gu Lingqing tapped her nose. I want to see you. I'll be leaving in a while. Baya's eyes dimmed. Even if he hadn't eaten, he couldn't eat with her. You don't have to come if you're in a hurry. I understand that you have something to do. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. It would take him 4 hours to get there. At most, he would only have an hour to reunite with her. But, he still came. You've lost weight. Why don't you eat more? There are many things that can't be rushed. Take it slow. Since there's a problem in Jinyang City, the calmer you are, the more anxious those who have done wrong will be, Gu Lingqing analyzed. I'm indeed anxious. So, I'm here to tell you a piece of good news. It's unexpected, but reasonable, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. What good news? Do you still remember when I thought there was something wrong with the head of security? Gu Lingqing reminded her. There's definitely something wrong with that head of security. He's in cahoots with the head of security, Baya said with certainty. Gu Lingqing passed her a photo. In the photo, the head of security took a man wearing sunglasses and a box of money. Who is this man? Why would he pay the security director? Baya was surprised. The manager of Xingzhen Construction Company, Gu Lingqing said. Baya came to a sudden realization. So, Lu Yangqing felt guilty and got the manager of Xingzhen Construction Company to deal with me. This manager got the security director to frame me. Why didn't they just kill me? They didn't dare to kill you directly because they suspected that there was someone behind you. In addition, the fact that your father is Xing Ba Chuan has also made them wary. They're framing you on purpose. Firstly, they don't want you to investigate. Secondly, they want to know who's behind you and who's going to help you, Gu Lingqing analyzed. This person is quite thoughtful, but these photos alone can't directly prove that this matter is related to the murder of the cultural center's director and framing me. Baya frowned. Do you still remember what the security director said to the security captain? His words were full of warning. I'll get someone to protect the security captain's wife and children. Sure enough, in the middle of the night, someone went to arrest the security captain's wife and son. The kidnappers were taken into custody. Today, when they saw these photos, they confessed that it was the security director who ordered them to do it. I asked the security captain's wife to visit the security captain today. The security captain admitted that it was the security director who ordered him to do it. After it's done, he'll be paid 200,000 in cash as a reward, Gu Lingqing explained. Then we can arrest the security director now. As long as he confesses to the manager, we might be able to solve this big case soon. Baiya was happy. She didn't expect that he had done so much for her in the past 5 days. Not yet. You have to be patient. We have to find the evidence between Xinjiang Construction Company and Lu Yangqing first. Otherwise, we can only stop at the manager's side. We won't be able to implicate Lu Yangqing. Baiya nodded. Since Lu Yangqing is doing these illegal things, his money should be unclear. The main thing is to find out where he hid his money or antiques. Then, we can punish him. My men have been following Lu Yangqing for a few days. He's a watertight person. He never participates in business gatherings, and he doesn't have any bad habits. It'll be hard to break through. No, Baiya suddenly had an idea. She interrupted Gu Lingqing. He has a hobby. It's either treasures or antiques. Do you remember the treasure map from last time? I think we can use the treasure map to lure the snake out of its hole. Lu Yangqing will definitely be very interested. Smart. I'll arrange for someone to come over and give you an answer within a week. Baiya pursed her lips and stared at him. She was silent for a while. Gu Lingqing hugged her waist and pulled her into his arms. What's wrong? I wanted to be a prosecutor. That way, I can stand in a place of authority. In the end, I've been doing nothing for the past 5 days. I even alerted the snake. If it wasn't for you, I might need a few years to break into Lu Yangqing. Dreams are beautiful, but reality is really cruel. Baiya said dejectedly. Gu Lingqing smiled. What I've done is equivalent to what you've done. Tang Xiaojiu's death is more or less related to us. Since I promised him, I'll work hard with you. Our goals are the same. Actually, my goal isn't that simple. I want to get promoted as soon as possible through meritorious service. Baiya revealed her desperation. It's the best of both worlds. Why not? Whatever you want, I'll help you achieve it. What you want is what I want too. I think this is good. You're in the light, and I'm in the dark. When I get the evidence, I'll still need you to do a public trial. Being able to work with you like this makes me feel very carefree. Baiya thought about it. It seemed to be the case. Then her decision was not wrong. She smiled too. Gu Lingqing leaned over and kissed her on the lips. Baiya dodged and cleared her throat. There's a surveillance camera in the room. I'll turn it off. Gu Lingqing smiled. What are you thinking about? Baiya thought that he wanted to have sex with her. She blushed. Nothing. Don't think about it. Let's do it. He carried her and walked to the bathroom. Happy days were short and beautiful. Gu Lingqing didn't have much time. It was already late when he got back. His speed was above 160 kilometers per hour. There was a knock on the door. Baiya thought it was Zhou Min, so she opened the door. Su Jiran stood at the door with a devilish smile on his face, but his eyes were extremely cold. Baiya quickly closed the door. Su Jiran pushed the door open. She was not as strong as him, so she was in a stalemate with him. Su Jiran looked at Baiya strangely. His eyes were very deep and he said expressionlessly, Baiya, do you know who the man who raped you 3 years ago was? Baiya paused and looked at Su Jiran. Who was it? Her heart was filled with hope. Chapter 122. Su Jiran came in from the door and sat on the sofa lazily. He looked at her deeply. What will you do when you know who raped you? Who is it? Baiya couldn't stay calm anymore. Her eyes were bloodshot. She wanted to know where her child had gone. Su Jiran twitched the corner of his mouth. Sleep with me and I'll tell you who it is. Baiya picked up the fruit plate on the coffee table and smashed it on Su Jiran's body. She roared, get lost. Su Jiran held her hand forcefully and pulled her to his side. If Gu Lingqing can sleep with you, why can't I? Has Gu Lingqing slept with many women before? At least not after knowing me. Baiya couldn't tolerate Su Jiran saying bad things about Gu Lingqing. Why not? Isn't Su Xiaoling the one? They're engaged. Baiya, don't be silly. It's impossible for you to be with him. Baiya wanted to pull her hand out. Su Jiran held it tightly and didn't want to let go. She bit down on his hand. Su Jiran clenched his teeth. His face was frighteningly pale. His voice came out from between his teeth. The one who raped you was Gu Lingqing. Baiya looked at Su Jiran in surprise. There was a momentary emptiness in her beautiful eyes. She was stunned and frighteningly calm. It was as if her soul had been taken away. Su Jiran looked at the bite mark between his thumb and index finger and looked at her coldly. You're lying, aren't you? Baiya didn't believe him at all. Whether I'm lying or not, you just have to ask Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran was very confident and calm. Impossible. Otherwise, why do you think he treats you so specially? Don't you think he's treating you with the intention of making it up to you? Su Jiran said cruelly and let go of Baiya's hand. Baiya's shoulders drooped, and his eyes darted back and forth. In a daze, he furrowed his brows. Su Jiran held Baiya's shoulder. Baiya cautiously pushed him away and retreated 2 meters away. His face was extremely pale. Baiya, you are a very rational person. Why do you think you can attract Gu Lingqing's attention? There are many women around him who are more beautiful than you. Is it because of your personality? Su Jiran said with a cold expression. Baiya looked straight at him. Gu Lingqing likes passionate, lively, and cheerful girls. He wrote in his diary that he fell in love with Zhou Hailan. Do you think you are warm, lively, and cheerful? You are the opposite. Every word and sentence of Su Jiran hit Baiya's heart heavily. She felt that she couldn't bear it anymore. Her legs were weak and she sat on the sofa. Su Jiran stood in front of her, and his shadow shrouded her. You should understand now. He treats you well because he hurt you. He thinks that all the harm I've done to you is caused by him. He is a very responsible person. You should also see his sense of responsibility. Baiya looked down. Su Jiran squatted in front of Baiya and held Baiya's cold hand. She was like a statue, not moving at all and sinking into deep thought. Baiya, I've betrayed you, and you've betrayed me. We're even, okay. I still want to be with you. Give me a chance. I'll cherish you. I promise, Su Jiran said in a gentle tone. Baiya looked at Su Jiran, and tears flowed from the corner of her eyes. If you and your girlfriend hadn't kidnapped me and left me in the wilderness, do you think I would have met that man? I just wanted to scare you. I didn't expect you to run away, Su Jiran explained. I ran away, or was it my fault? Baiya asked in return, and her eyes became colder. You're so resourceful that you've already found the man who raped me. What about my child? Where is my child? Have you found it? Didn't you beat that child? You gave birth to it. Su Jiran stood up anxiously and stared at Baiya. Baiya turned her face away. At first, she also thought that the child was snatched away by Su Jiran. Later, she found out that Su Jiran had always thought that she had aborted the child. There was a very coincidental thing. Although Bai Bing had been sent to the mental hospital, Baiya had still tried her best to get Bai Bing out. When Su Jiran found out that she was pregnant, he forced her to abort the child. Baiya used this as a condition to ask Su Jiran for help. She went to the hospital, hesitated, and happened to meet a student who didn't want others to know that she had an abortion. The student wrote the name Baiya. The doctor gave the student's embryo to Su Jiran. Su Jiran helped her bail Bai Bing out. She took Bai Bing outside to relax. Su Jiran ignored her. She gave birth to the child outside, but the child was snatched away within a week. Bai Bing also suffered a blow, and there was an incident of injury. From then on, she was locked up in the sanatorium, and it was impossible for her to be released again. Speak. Su Jiran was furious. The child is mine. I want to give birth to it. I can take good care of it. Baiyo was also agitated. No wonder you were depressed during that period. I thought you were depressed because I asked you to abort the child. That was the child of a rapist. I didn't expect you to be depressed because the child was snatched away. Su Jiran walked out of the room angrily and slammed the door. Baiyo was annoyed. She shouldn't have told Su Jiran about the child. What if he hurt the child? She was very annoyed. Zhou Ming came back and saw Baiya sitting on the sofa in a daze. What's wrong? Which city is Gu Lingqing in? Baiya asked with red eyes. How would we know about the chief's matter? Zhou Ming was very cautious. I know. Baiya called Gu Lingqing. Is it too late for you to come back now? It's a bit difficult. I have an appointment with someone tonight. I'll try to come tomorrow. Gu Lingqing looked at the time and said. No need. You go do your own thing first. Which city are you in now? Baiya asked. I'm in Jiangye City, which is next to Jinyang City. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing felt that Baiya's tone was not right. Nothing. See you tomorrow. Baiya hung up the phone. Now Gu Lingqing was still on the highway. He had an important task that night, and she didn't want to affect his mood. Baiya picked up her bag and said to Zhou Ming, I'll ask for leave tomorrow. Help me talk to the prosecutor's office. Where are you going? I'll go with you. Zhou Ming said worriedly. I'm going to look for your chief. Everything will be fine. I'll come back after seeing him tomorrow. Baiya knew that even if she didn't say it, Zhou Ming would still report it. There was no need to keep her in suspense. She went out and went to the bus station to buy a ticket to Jiangye City. While waiting for the bus, she bought a box of instant noodles at the bus station and ate it as dinner. She took the last bus to Jiangye City. It was 10:30 at night when she arrived. Chapter 123. That night, she tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Her memory returned to that night 3 years ago. She ran out of the room and was pulled over by a man. He was very strong and had great strength. He turned her around, held her lips, and penetrated her in a barbaric manner. There was no previous step at all, just like a ferocious beast. Gu Lingqing was very gentle to her. Every time, he would let her feel comfortable first before doing it with him. His patience was still very good, completely different from the man from 3 years ago. When he was having sex with her, she saw Su Jiran and that woman's car parked not far away, and they had sex in the car. She fainted from the pain, and when she woke up, she was still lying in the wilderness, and that man had escaped. Gu Lingqing was a very responsible person. She did not believe that it was Gu Lingqing who did it. Could it be Su Jiran's conspiracy? At 8:00 in the morning, Baiya had breakfast and was resting in bed. She sent a message to Gu Lingqing. I'm already in Jiangye City, at the Jiangye Hotel near the long-distance bus station. Contact me when you're free. Gu Lingqing's call came at 11:00. Baiya immediately sat up and picked up the call. I'll be there in half an hour. What's the room number? Gu Lingqing sounded a little tired. Baiya's heart ached. She really did not want to cause trouble for Gu Lingqing, but this matter was very important to her. She wanted to ask him face to face. 3:02, Baiya replied. Okay. Half an hour later, there was a knock on the door. Baiya opened the door, and Gu Lingqing stood at the door with a slight smile, looking very tired. Are you done with work? Baiya asked. Yeah, something happened yesterday, but it's nothing. What's wrong? With your personality, something must have happened when you came last night. Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya worriedly. Haven't you slept since last night? Baya asked suspiciously. It doesn't matter. I didn't sleep for half a month when I was on a mission. Have you eaten yet? Why don't we eat together and talk about it over dinner? Gu Lingqing held her hand. Do you have anything to do in the afternoon? Baya asked. I'll go there at 4 o'clock. I have 5 hours to accompany you, Gu Lingqing answered patiently. If I don't come over, are you going to drive to my place and come back in an hour? Baya frowned. I'll probably find someone to drive the car. I'll sleep in the car. I'll be sleeping anyway. I'll be able to be by your side while I'm sleeping. How nice. Baya's heart fluctuated. She really couldn't believe that the man from 3 years ago was Gu Lingqing. Sleep for a while. I'll order takeout from Meituan. I'll call you for dinner when it's here. Sleep for a while and rest well before you start working. She picked up her phone and opened Meituan. Gu Lingqing looked down at her with a gentle gaze. Xiaoya, I'm very happy that you'll come here to look for me. Baya paused and looked at Gu Lingqing. This won't make me feel that I'm the only one who cares about the relationship between us, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Her heart trembled violently. She held her phone tighter and hesitated whether she should ask. The nicer he was to her, the more she couldn't bring herself to ask. Sleep with me for a while. Gu Lingqing hugged Baya and lay on the bed. He closed his eyes. Baya leaned against his chest and rested her head on his shoulder. She could feel the warmth of his body passing through her skin and into her blood. Gu Lingqing, no matter what you did to me in the past, no matter how bad it was, I'll forgive you. But, from now on, I don't want you to lie to me again. Of course, except for your military affairs. Is that okay? Baya said. She waited for a while, but Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. She turned to look at him. He seemed to have fallen asleep. She looked at his handsome face. She couldn't reconcile it with the person who had raped her in the past. Forget it. If it was him, she believed that he had his reasons back then. He might have been carrying out a mission. If he had been the one holding her child, he would have carried the child out when his parents objected. He didn't. That proved that the child was not with him. His mission was very dangerous. She really didn't want to bother him with her matters. Baya put her hand on his waist and fell asleep. She didn't know how long had passed. When Gu Lingqing moved, she opened her eyes. He looked at the time on his watch. It was already 16 o'clock. Xiaoya, I have to go back now. I'll get someone to send you back to Jinyang City. Okay, complete your mission well. Don't worry about me. I have Zhou Min protecting me and so many people with you. I'll be fine, Baya said gently and sat up. He kissed her forehead. I'll rest after I'm done here. Okay. Baya got into the car. The driver was someone she had never seen before. He was wearing the uniform of an armed police officer. The car drove on the road. Baya looked at the unfamiliar city. The city seemed to be warmer because of him. Suddenly, the driver braked. Baya knocked into the chair in front of her. She looked outside and asked, "What happened?" "I think we hit someone." "I'll go and take a look," the police officer said. He opened the door and got out of the car. Baya heard a bang. Before she could react, a few people wearing masks and holding guns got into the car. "Who are you?" Baya was surprised. Many thoughts flashed through her mind. Could it be that Gu Lingqing's parents knew that they were together? Or were they Su Xiaoling's people? "What do you want?" "I can give you money." "Let me out of the car," Baya asked anxiously. "Shut up," the man wearing a pig mask said. He picked up a handkerchief and pressed it under Baya's nose. Baya wanted to hold her breath, but it was too late. She fainted. When she woke up, there was a lot of noise and the lights were very bright. She opened her eyes. The lights were very bright. She closed them again. Her hands and feet were tied to the table. "Do you dare to have sex with Gu Lingqing's woman?" a fat man shouted. He pointed a gun at a bearded man. "If you do it, I'll believe that you're the chief. Otherwise, don't try to lie to me." "Gu Lingqing's woman. Let's have a good taste of her. Send her to her room." An unusually hoarse voice sounded. "Do it. Do it here." "Are you from the F*King military?" the bald man shouted. Baya saw the bearded man walk in front of her. His eyes were very small, and he was wearing a pair of glasses. His face was full of beard. He picked up a knife. Baya's mind was blank. She only felt that the knife was very sharp. "Don't come over. Don't touch me," Baya said in fear. Her current memory overlapped with that of 3 years ago. The bearded man took out a knife and cut the ropes on Baya's hands and feet. Baya slapped the bearded man's face. Chapter 124. Baya fell on the wooden board with a thud. She watched as the bearded man took off his suit and shirt, revealing the vest underneath. There was a scar on his arm. According to her medical judgment, judging from the degree of healing, it should be yesterday's injury. He walked towards her like a hunter. Baya was scared and her body was trembling. "Don't come near me, don't come near me." The bearded man approached Baya step by step. She didn't want to die. She still wanted to be with Gu Lingqing. But if she was tainted, she would rather die. She didn't know how to face Gu Lingqing. Baya turned around and bumped into the wall. Before she could touch the wall, she was grabbed by the bearded man and pressed on the bed. Baya wanted to die and wriggled like crazy. The man pressed her legs. She couldn't move. "Ah!" Baya screamed. The bearded man unbuttoned her trousers and pulled them down. Baya pulled her hand out and pressed on the injured area. Blood flowed down from his arm. The man pressed her hands on both sides of her body and looked down at her. Baya stared at the bearded man. She wasn't even afraid of death. Why should she be afraid of him? She bumped her head against his. The bearded man dodged. Baya took the opportunity to take the dagger that he had thrown beside the bed. She didn't even think and slashed at her neck. The bearded man grabbed the sharp edge of the dagger and pulled it away. He pressed Baya's hands with one hand, tore off her pants and tied her wrists. "Ah!" Baya's eyes were bloodshot. She couldn't move and was at her wit's end. Humiliation, despair, living a life worse than death. She bit her tongue. Biting one's tongue to commit suicide was because there were many blood vessels on the tongue. Biting off one's tongue would cause unbearable pain and excessive blood loss. She didn't want to do nothing. Now, if she died, at least she would be unyielding and keep her position in Gu Lingqing's heart. Otherwise, she would not be able to face him. When the bearded man saw Baya's actions, panic flashed in his eyes as he pressed down on Baya's chin. His strength was too great, and she was forced to open her mouth. Her tongue had already been bitten, and blood was flowing out. The bearded man frowned and kissed her lips. "Ah!" Baya struggled desperately and hit the back of his head. He pressed down on Baya's forehead and kissed her ear. "Xiaoya, I'm Gu Lingqing. There's a surveillance camera in the room. I'll explain it to you after we go out. Now pretend to be unconscious." Gu Lingqing's voice is lowered and rings in her ear. Baya's soul suffered 100 points of impact, and he closed his eyes. The storm in his mind assaulted him. She used to think that it was impossible for Gu Lingqing to be the one who raped her 3 years ago. Now that she thought about it, maybe it was really him 3 years ago. He was on a mission like this. But, according to his sense of responsibility, why didn't he come to find her? She wanted to say it out loud. If it was really Gu Lingqing, he should know about the existence of their child. Maybe Gu Lingqing could find the child that was taken away from her. He wanted to cover the location of the camera so that she wouldn't be exposed, but he was afraid that he would take pity on her and expose himself. He sat on the bed and rested. The bald man clapped his hands and walked in. Chief is really brave. How does Gu Lingqing's woman feel? This woman is hot enough. I like it. Leave her with me tonight. I want to do it a few more times, Gu Lingqing said in a hoarse voice. Okay, before she dies, she's still useful. The bald man glanced at Baiya coldly. If she dies, what's the point? I have to let Gu Lingqing see his woman being bullied by me. It's only interesting to see him suffer, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Yes, yes. Chief is always the best. I'm sorry, Chief, for doubting you before. The person who tried to assassinate you yesterday was also arranged by me. I have to see if you can be cruel to her. He passed yesterday's test, but my boss is still worried. Coincidentally, my men who were hiding at the bus stop saw Gu Lingqing go to see this woman. You appeared so suddenly. It's better to be careful. You've even touched Gu Lingqing's woman. I sent the video to my boss and he was relieved. I'll bring you to see my boss tomorrow. You can have a taste of this woman tonight, the bald man explained. Ask my men to come in and help me bandage my wound. We're going to do something big tomorrow. I want to relax tonight. Don't come in and disturb me, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes, yes, I understand. Have fun. I'll be upstairs. Just call me if you need anything, the bald man said and left with a smile. Gu Lingqing's men came in and bandaged Gu Lingqing's wound. Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya on the bed. This woman is too hot-tempered. Is there any way to make her more docile? Of course there is, but I need to go out and get some medicine, Gu Lingqing's men said. Be careful. Don't let anyone target you. I'll find you a few women after we're done tomorrow. Thank you, boss. Also, buy some tools to tie her up. This pair of pants is really unsightly, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes. Gu Lingqing's men left. The bald man in the control room stared at the screen without blinking. Boss, he should be fine, right? The bald man stared at the screen and asked. From the looks of it, he should be fine. Observe him tonight. If he's fine, let him see our boss, the bald man said. Gu Lingqing's room. Baiya vaguely guessed everything. Gu Lingqing had been on a mission recently. The bald man was worried that Gu Lingqing was from the military, so he captured her to test her. She didn't know what to do when she woke up so that she wouldn't be suspected, so she kept her eyes closed. She thought of the wounds on Gu Lingqing's arms and palms and felt guilty. She didn't know that he hurt her because of Gu Lingqing. She fell asleep in a daze. Gu Lingqing lay next to her and sent a message. Boss, Chief sent a message, the bald man shouted excitedly. Did you cut it off? The bald man asked his men who were staring at the computer. Yes, Chief said, I played with Gu Lingqing's woman today. Have you finished your plan? If Gu Lingqing catches me, I'll be crippled even if I don't die. Boss, what should we do? Ignore him, or he'll expose himself, the bald man said. I think he's fine, the bald man analyzed. We'll observe him tonight and see the boss. He's with the boss. This is a serious matter and we can't afford any mistakes, the bald man said cautiously. Chapter 125. After a long time, Baiya woke up, opened her eyes, and saw Gu Lingqing sleeping next to her. She frowned. If she pretended not to know Gu Lingqing, she should have left secretly at this time. She didn't dare to go out, worried that Baldy's men were outside. If she was caught by Baldy's men, things would be worse. She deliberately turned over Gu Lingqing's hand and touched his body. Gu Lingqing woke up alertly, held her hand, and pressed it on the bed. Let go of me. Baiya said, her voice was not as sharp as before. Gu Lingqing took a pill and threw it into Baiya's mouth. What did you give me to eat? Baiya's eyes widened. He kissed her lips. Baiya knew that Gu Lingqing wouldn't hurt her. She was saving him. But the fear of the unknown burned her tense nerves. Her body felt strangely hot. Gu Lingqing put her ankle on his shoulder and wanted to have sex with her. However, she didn't take off her clothes from beginning to end. Baldy stared at the moving Gu Lingqing on the screen and cleared his throat. Damn it, he's having fun, and I'm watching. If I'm not happy, I'll go out and find a woman. Boss, do you still want to watch over here? Baldy's men asked. Do as you see fit. Baldy was relieved of Gu Lingqing, and drove away. Hearing the sound of the car downstairs, Gu Lingqing's tense nerves relaxed a little. 10 minutes later, his phone rang and he hung up. Gu Lingqing knew in his heart. The sound meant that the surveillance was still on, but he wasn't watching the surveillance. He had to keep Baiya in his room, otherwise, it would be difficult for him to protect her when there were a bunch of impatient beasts outside. Baiya had yet to recover. His body was limp, and his eyes were half closed as he collapsed on the bed. He tied up Baiya and found a blind spot of the surveillance camera. Then, he lowered his voice and said, "We'll leave at 10 a.m. tomorrow to meet their boss. You'll be pawned, and I'll leave 2 men to protect you. Don't be afraid." Baiya was exhausted. He blinked his eyes to show that he understood. Just bear with it for one night. I found out that their boss is Miller. He was the one who planted the bombs during the Blue Wolf exercise. Now he has a lot of weapons of mass destruction in his hands. I have to deal with them, Gu Lingqing explained. Baiya knew. He blinked his eyes again and closed them. Gu Lingqing handcuffed their wrists together and covered them with a quilt. Baiya held Gu Lingqing's hand. He also held her hand with a bit more strength. At the hotel in the morning, someone knocked on the door. Gu Lingqing woke up. He opened his eyes and met Baiya's eyes. She frowned. Before she could say anything, Gu Lingqing taped her mouth. The more he said, the more mistakes he would make. Saying nothing was the safest. He handcuffed her to the bed. Open the door. Boss, how did you sleep last night? We should leave soon. The bald man looked at Baiya in the room. His eyes were filled with evil intentions. Don't let this woman go first. We'll celebrate after we're done. When I'm tired of playing with her, I'll throw her to you, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. The bald man's gaze became more flirtatious. You've played with her for the whole night. You're still not tired of her. The important thing is not the technique, but whose woman is she? Xiaowu, keep an eye on her. Don't let her escape. If she escapes, you guys can forget about living, Gu Lingqing ordered his men. Yes, boss. I'll change my clothes. Gu Lingqing turned around and went into the bathroom. He brushed his teeth, washed his face, changed his clothes, looked deeply at Baiya, and went out. Baiya knew that he was going to see their boss. His situation was even more dangerous than hers. If he completed his mission, she would be able to escape unscathed. If he didn't complete his mission, she would probably be in danger too. As time ticked by, her nerves didn't relax for even a moment. 3 hours later, she heard a series of explosions. Bang, bang, bang. Xiaowu rushed into the room and untied Baiya. What happened to him? Baiya asked worriedly. Hurry up and leave with me, Xiaowu said and pulled Baiya out. Baiya saw Xiaowu's serious expression. What happened? Where's Gu Lingqing? Did he complete his mission? Don't ask. This isn't something you should know. Leave, Xiaowu said coldly. Baiya pulled her hand out and asked defensively, where's Gu Lingqing? Where is he now? I don't know. I just received a notice to bring you away immediately. The chief will contact you after he escapes unscathed. Please leave with me now. Don't drag the chief down, Xiaowu said seriously. Baiya thought about it and agreed. If the bald man caught her, she would drag Gu Lingqing into trouble. She quickly followed Xiaowu and got into Xiaowu's car. Xiaowu drove very fast and sent her back to Jinyang City. Baiya held her phone tightly and waited for Gu Lingqing's call. However, it had been more than 3 hours since she arrived at Jinyang City. Gu Lingqing still hadn't called. She had a bad feeling. Logically speaking, an hour after the explosion, Gu Lingqing should be safe. Could something have happened to him? Can you contact your colleagues? I want to know about Gu Lingqing's situation, Baiya asked Xiaowu worriedly. Xiaowu didn't say anything. Baiya was a little angry. She called Gu Lingqing. I'm sorry, the number you have dialed is not available. She was at her wit's end. Please ask him. I'm worried about Gu Lingqing's safety. I won't disturb you anymore once I'm sure he's safe. Xiaowu glanced at Baiya and said coldly, it's a military secret. You can't ask about it. The chief will contact you. Baiya knew it was useless to ask again. She looked out of the window worriedly. Xiaowu sent Baiya to the entrance of the hotel and left. Baiya returned to her room. Zhou Min was there. She saw that Baiya's clothes were wrinkled and asked worriedly, what happened? Baiya saw Zhou Min and her hope was ignited. She held Zhou Min's shoulder and asked, can you contact Gu Lingqing now? I'll try. Zhou Min saw that Baiya wasn't in a good mood, so she made the call. Baiya looked at Zhou Min anxiously. There's no one on the chief's side. Usually, it's not convenient for the chief to answer the call. He might be in a meeting or on a mission, Zhou Min said. Meeting? It doesn't seem like it. He knows that I'm looking for him. I'm worried about him. After the mission is completed, he should tell me. It's even more unlikely that he's on a mission. It's been more than 3 hours since the explosion. The mission should be completed by now, right? Baiya said to herself. I'll ask my comrades. Don't worry. Zhou Min was also anxious after hearing what Baiya said. She kept making calls. Chapter 126. Baiya sat on the sofa and waited for Gu Lingqing's news. She waited for the whole night. She didn't dare to sleep. She was afraid that she would miss Gu Lingqing's call if she fell asleep. In fact, she couldn't sleep at all. She couldn't be at ease if she didn't get any news about Gu Lingqing. 3 days and 3 nights passed just like that. She was exhausted and didn't want to eat. She curled up on the sofa and looked at her phone. Zhou Min felt sorry for her. Baiya, eat some food and sleep for a while. I'll keep an eye on you. I'll tell you immediately when the chief calls. If you fall sick, the chief will feel sorry for you. Baiya stared at her phone and didn't say anything. Her eyes were empty and weak. Actually, no news is good news, right? Eat some. Zhou Min squatted in front of Baiya. Something must have happened to Gu Lingqing. If nothing happened to him, he wouldn't have left me alone. There's no news at all, Baiya said with certainty. It had been 3 days. There was no news at all in 3 days. This was unusual in itself. Zhou Min actually felt that something had happened to Gu Lingqing. Why don't you call the chief's parents? They must know what's going on. Zhou Min's words reminded Baiya. A bright light lit up in her dim eyes. She didn't want to be with Gu Lingqing now. She just wanted Gu Lingqing to be safe and sound. She dialed Song Shiyu's number. Song Shiyu answered. Hello, I'm Baiya. Baiya sat up nervously. Yes, I know. Song Shiyu's voice was very calm. I want to know, is Gu Lingqing okay? Baiya asked directly. Song Shiyu was silent for a while. I just want to know if he's okay. Baiya frowned. She was afraid that Song Shiyu wouldn't tell her. Song Shiyu took a deep breath. He completed his mission with flying colors. He wiped out the enemies and destroyed all their dangerous weapons. However, he suffered a brain injury during the fight with the enemies. He fell into the sea and swam back desperately. In the end, he drowned in the sea and suffered from a lack of oxygen for a long time. His condition is very serious. Take care. Baiya's eyes instantly turned red, and tears rolled down her cheeks. She knew that something had happened to him. Are you out of danger yet? Baiya asked, choking with sobs. If he died, she would not live alone. Yes, but his brain is damaged and he can't remember many things. I think he probably doesn't recognize you anymore. Perhaps, this is a good chance for him to completely walk out of your life. You're safe and the relationship between you two is over, Song Shiyu said gently. Baiya, her mind went blank. It was as if she had slowly descended from heaven. She saw the most beautiful scenery in the world, but she was getting further and further away from it. Was it a fluke, a regret, a reluctance, or... Actually, this was the best possible outcome. Song Shiyu hung up the phone. Baiya was still standing there coldly, as if she had lost her soul. Baiya, what's wrong? Don't scare me. Zhou Min supported Baiya. Baiya pushed Zhou Min away and walked out of the room. She didn't know where she wanted to go. She just didn't want to stay in the room and do nothing. Zhou Min was afraid that something would happen to Baiya, so she kept following behind Baiya. Baiya walked unconsciously. She walked from dawn to dusk and sat on the stone bench. The moon was bright tonight, and there were many stars. She went from having nothing to having Guling Qing. She had already had a good dream, hadn't she? Everyone should wake up from their dreams and recognize the reality. If she kept dreaming and refused to wake up, she would only become crazy. At least, he was still alive. Without Baiya, Guling Qing would live a better life. He would have no worries, be energetic, and move forward bravely towards a bright future without any worries. Without Guling Qing, Baiya would also live a good life. Finally, she returned to the right path of life. Baiya went back. She brushed her teeth, washed up, had dinner, and slept. The next day, she returned to work. Work, eat, sleep, everything was normal. Except that she didn't say anything. One night after half a month, Zhou Min answered the phone. She knocked on the door of Baiya's room with a bad expression. Baiya opened the door. Baiya, the chief has returned to the army. He completed the mission to eliminate the terrorists and was awarded this morning. He is already a lieutenant general. Baiya listened to Zhou Min and was very calm. She expected it. But, according to reliable sources, the chief seems to have lost part of his memory. We can't go back. Zhou Min frowned. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't go back? Baiya didn't understand. Back then, the chief specially selected a team of people from the special forces to help you. We are directly under the chief, and our files in the military were temporarily deleted. Now, only the top secret department has our files. The top secret department is a very secretive organization. None of us know where it is. Now that the chief has lost his memory, it means we can't go back. Zhou Min lowered her head in despair. Besides you, who else? Baiya realized the seriousness of the matter. She had harmed a team of people. It didn't matter what happened to her now, but what about the soldiers? 2 of them are now negotiating with the antique dealer. 2 of them are now following Luliang City 24 hours a day. Another 2 are investigating the manager of the construction company. There are 7 of us. I'm fine, I have a salary. They have nothing now, no direction, and no goal. What should we do in the future? Zhou Min was also at a loss. It started because of me. I will definitely find a way to let you go back to the team. Don't worry. Baiya called Song Shiyu. After 5 rings, Song Shiyu answered the phone. What's the matter? Song Shiyu's voice was deep. Sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Song. It's like this. Before the accident, Chief Gu sent a secret team to carry out the mission. He deleted the information of those people, but their information is in the top secret department. I think we should let them go back to the team. Baiya said gently. She tried not to put pressure on Song Shiyu. The top secret department of every national organization is independent. No one knows where it is. I don't know either. Lingqing's father doesn't know either. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do. How about this? How many people are there in total? I will give each of them 500,000 yuan as a subsidy. They don't need to go back to the team, and you don't need to call me in the future. Song Shiyu said directly. Baiya was silent for a while. Since Mrs. Song wants to use money as a subsidy, let's give each of them 1 million yuan. There are 7 of them, Baiya said calmly. Chapter 127. What did she say? Zhou Min asked worriedly. She said that every secret archive room is different. Gu Lingqing's father doesn't know where it is in the military. Other than the person in charge, no one knows where it is. She gave each of you 1 million as compensation, Baiya said. Does that mean we can't go back for the rest of our lives? Zhou Min frowned. Gu Lingqing might suddenly regain his memory one day, or you can re-enter the military. Or, you can re-enter the military region. I believe that with your excellence, you will definitely succeed again, Baiya advised. Zhou Min lowered her eyes. She was capable, strong, and invincible, but she was suddenly dispirited. I need to discuss it with them. Good luck, Baiya said apologetically. They were like this because of her. She felt bad, but there was nothing she could do. As a soldier, honor was the most important thing. Everything they had done in the past was negated. If they were in their shoes, they would definitely be sad. Baiya closed the door and lay on the bed. She didn't fall asleep again. In the morning, she got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, and opened the door. Zhou Min stood at the door with 6 soldiers. Baiya was shocked again. She looked at Zhou Min. What's wrong? We had a meeting last night and made a decision. Our previous mission was to find the culprit of the Tangqian village massacre case. We haven't completed our mission yet, so we'll continue. Now that the chief has temporarily forgotten about us, we'll listen to your instructions from now on, Zhou Min said on behalf of everyone. Baiya glanced at everyone's faces. They looked at her expressionlessly, but they also looked dignified. It was a terrifying thing for a person to lose their life goal. She couldn't refuse. Let's work hard together, Baiya cheered them on. We're not afraid of hard work, suffering, bleeding, or sweating. We'll move forward with determination towards our goal, the 7 soldiers said in unison. Baiya felt her blood boiling in her body. This was the direction she had finally found after half a month. She was also like a walking corpse in the past. Gu Lingqing might forget her and these comrades forever, but they wouldn't forget their duty. And she should be responsible for them. Life was tense but orderly. Gu Lingqing had completely left her life. There was no chance or possibility for them to meet. Due to the special nature of Gu Lingqing's work, she rarely heard news about him. At the end of the year, after a long period of surveillance, tracking, and negotiation, they finally found Luliang City's lover. She was also the younger sister of the CEO of Xingzhen Construction Company, and the manager of Xingzhen Construction Company was the younger brother of Lu Liang's lover. Prosecutor Bai, we now have concrete evidence to prove that the manager of Xingzhen Construction Company is related to the person who smuggled the antiques. We also have concrete evidence to prove that Luliang City and Yinwan have an abnormal relationship. Should we make a move? Zhou Min asked cautiously. Luliang City sold the land to Xingzhen Construction Company at a normal price. Xingzhen Construction Company excavated the cultural relics and sold them. This has nothing to do with Luliang City. Luliang City's account was clean. Just based on the fact that he stayed at Yinwan's place, it was not enough to prove that they had done something they shouldn't have. If we launch a surprise attack and don't find Luoyang City's treasury, we will only alert the enemy. Send the photos of Luoyang City and Yinwan to Luoyang City's wife and continue to monitor them, Bai ordered. Yes. Prosecutor Bai, are you going home this new year? Zhou Min asked with concern. Bai paused and shook her head. Tell the brothers not to work too hard. Those who should go home, and those who should reunite should go home. And, Zhou Min responded and went out to do her work. Bai walked to the sky garden and looked up at the sky. The moon was very bright, carrying the coldness of the moon palace. The cold wind blew across her skin. Her face was almost numb from the cold. What was Gu Lingqing doing now? Was he working? Or had he reunited with his family? There was a knock on the door. Bai walked back to the room and gathered her clothes. Looking through the peephole, she saw a waiter holding a bouquet of roses in her hand. Bai opened the door suspiciously. Su Jiran walked over from the side and said with a smile, Bai, it's been a long time. Meeting is not as good as reminiscing. Bai closed the door coldly. Su Jiran pushed Bai's door. I brought news about Gu Lingqing. Don't you want to hear it? I don't want to. I'm going to rest. My roommate should be back soon. Please forgive me for not being able to receive you, Bai said resolutely. Gu Lingqing's memory has been restored, Su Jiran said. Bai's eyes paused and looked at Su Jiran. It's been restored to 5 or 6 years ago, the day Zhou Hailan got into trouble. Do you know what this means? Su Jiran smiled. His smile was very cold, with a harsh ice blade. Bai didn't want to hear it anymore. She wanted to close the door, but she couldn't. She turned around, and Su Jiran walked in. This means that, for him, the most painful thing is not parting with you, but with Zhou Hailan, Su Jiran continued. Are you done? Bai was impatient. Tell me, isn't it your good luck? He refused to marry Su Shaoling no matter what. He's still immersed in the pain of losing Zhou Hailan, Su Jiran said sarcastically. Su Jiran, you also said that it's impossible for me and Gu Lingqing. I'm not a person who refuses to wake up from a dream. From now on, no matter good or bad, I don't want to know anything about him. Bai turned her face away and sat on the sofa. Su Jiran looked at her, and his eyes softened. He sat opposite her. Are you going home for Chinese New Year this year? That's not my home. I'm going there because I hope that my work will be easier in the future. You don't need to rely on Xing Bachuan. There are also ways to make your work easier. For example, continue to be my wife. I promise you, you can have everything you want. Why do you have to bury yourself in this poor and remote place? Bai listened to Su Jiran's words and found it funny. Su Jiran, are you in love with me? Bai asked. Su Jiran's eyes darkened. After we divorced, I haven't touched another woman. I'll make it up to you for what I owe you in the past. I mean it this time. I swear on my father's name. Bai was very calm. Su Jiran, find a woman and live a good life. Have a child of your own and enjoy the happiness of a family. You and I aren't suitable for each other. I won't believe in love anymore. I just want to be single for the rest of my life. What if I say that I found your child who was taken away? Su Jiran looked at Bai's expression. Bai stood up in shock. She was a little agitated and asked a few questions in a row. You found my child? Where is my child? How is he now? Chapter 128. Bai had never thought about this question. If she took the child to look for Gu Lingqing, would Gu Lingqing admit it? Would Gu Lingqing's parents admit it? Gu Lingqing didn't know her anymore. Would he hate her? If they didn't admit it, what should she do? Her mind went blank for a moment. She couldn't answer him. Su Jiran sneered, stood up, gathered his clothes, and said coldly, "Don't worry, I didn't find your child, so it's absolutely impossible for you and Gu Lingqing." Su Jiran turned around and walked towards the door of her room. Baiya stared at Su Jiran's back. She felt that Su Jiran should have found it, but he didn't want to tell her. He wouldn't hurt her child, would he? There was a flash of panic in Baiya's eyes. She said anxiously, "If you find my child, I will marry you. I won't look for Gu Lingqing. Even if Gu Lingqing and I have a child, it's impossible for us to be together. They won't admit this child." Su Jiran turned around and looked at Baiya deeply. He raised the corner of his lips. "Then I'll try my best to find it. I hope you won't go back on your word." Su Jiran opened the door and walked out. Baiya sat back on the sofa, pinched the bridge of her nose, and closed her eyes. Where was her and Gu Lingqing's child? Her phone rang. She saw that it was a call from Lu Shuang, and there was a trace of warmth in her cold heart from a friend far away. She answered the phone. "Xiao Bai, are you back for the new year?" Lu Shuang seemed to have a cold, and his voice was buzzing. Baiya didn't plan to go back, but her friends and her mother were still in City A. She should go back and see them. After a while, when the prosecutor's office releases me, I'll come back. When I come back, I'll treat you to a meal. Let's get together. Baiya said softly, "Cool girl, I miss you." "I miss you too. By the way, I'm now working as a doctor in the special military. Yesterday, I met Gu Lingqing by chance. How come he doesn't seem to recognize me?" Lu Shuang was surprised. "Cool girl, we're already in the past. Don't mention me in front of him," Baiya instructed. "I also want to have a chance to see him. He is now a lieutenant general and has a lot of meetings every day. If I want to see him, he will be the one speaking on the stage. Even if he got off the stage and bumped into them on the road, there were many rules in the military. He couldn't get close to them. There were so many people around him, so he couldn't get close to them." Lu Shuang said helplessly. "How is he now?" Baiya couldn't help but ask. "He's doing quite well. He solved a huge firearms case and was seriously injured. After he recovered, he was awarded a medal. His career has been soaring." "Did his brain get damaged during the injury?" Lu Shuang guessed. "I think so. It's quite good. He has returned to the right path of life, and I have also returned to the right path of life," Baiya said lightly. Except that she had already left her heart with that person. "We'll contact each other when you come back. I have a lot of things to tell you. I can't wait to see you," Lu Shuang said and hung up. Baiya lay on the sofa and hugged herself with both hands. Inexplicably, her nose felt sour and astringent. An important part of her heart was missing. She felt lonely. On the night of the third day before the prosecutor's office holiday, the chief invited everyone to dinner. Baiya's inaction in the past 6 months was the greatest achievement for the chief. "Prosecutor Bai, will you come back after the new year?" the chief asked tentatively. "I should come back. As for when I'll be transferred back, it depends on the arrangements." "I should be back soon," Baiya said with a smile. "Prosecutor Bai is quite responsible. If you weren't sent here to supervise, I would really wish that you were someone from our office," the chief said respectfully. Baiya smiled. "Let's work hard together." She drank a lot tonight. Maybe it was because she was in a bad mood. Halfway through the meal, Baiya went out for a breath of fresh air. She went to the branch area and looked at the wooden trays. The wooden sign that she and Gu Lingqing had written had long been submerged in other people's wooden signs. Thinking about the past, it was quite childish. The more beautiful the promise, the more it showed the current sadness. She wanted to find her own wooden tray, take it out and throw it away. But there were too many wooden trays. She was completely submerged in the wooden trays. Go, Don't let anyone come over. I want to be alone. A familiar voice was heard. Baya paused for a moment and looked at Gu Lingqing, who was standing in front of Lian Lizzie. His face was cool and his eyes were sharp. When he looked at the wooden trays, apart from coldness, there was also ruthlessness and alienation. Who is it? Gu Lingqing realized that there was someone behind the tree and looked over sharply. Baya was surprised to see him here. She came back to her senses and walked out with her head lowered. She explained, I hung a wooden tray on the tree previously. I didn't want to hang it on the tree, so I wanted to find it. Gu Lingqing didn't even look at her and waved his hand. Baya's heart sank. It was as if it had sunk to the bottom of an unfathomable valley. He really didn't know her. He didn't even have any impression of her. Her mind was blank as she walked out slowly. She had a lot of gold under her feet. So heavy that she couldn't lift her feet. She still felt indignant. When she walked to the door, she turned around and looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing rode a wooden tray and hung it on the tree. On the wooden tray was written, Hailan, I miss you so much. Baya felt that there was a knife stabbing into her heart. She didn't even have a chance to breathe. She staggered a step back and held the door frame to support her body. Her eyes were covered with tears. Tears rolled down from the corners of her eyes. She stared at Gu Lingqing in her blurred vision. The betrayal of her body was more of anger. The betrayal of her heart was hysterical pain. The pain made her want to escape quickly. Baya rushed out of the full moon restaurant, stumbling. She didn't know what she had done wrong. She fell in love with Su Jiran and wanted to live a good life with him, but she was never cherished. She fell in love with Gu Lingqing and wanted to be duty-bound, but she didn't even have the qualification to be duty-bound. She wanted a home, a place she could go back to. However, God was hurting her more and more. Did he not want her to live? Baya looked at the car passing by. Her eyes flashed with determination. She rushed to the car. The car turned the steering wheel and passed by her. It didn't stop and drove past. The other cars deliberately avoided her. She looked around in a daze. Tears flowed down. She wanted to drain all the blood in her heart. In this way, would it not hurt anymore? Would she not feel the despair of living a life worse than death? She regained some rationality. Even if she was going to die, she couldn't hurt others. She pressed her heart and walked back to the hotel step by step. She didn't know how she came back. She lay on the bed and looked at the air with dull eyes. Chapter 129. Baya couldn't sleep. She spent the whole night watching videos. From Stephen Chow's A Journey, to all kinds of funny variety shows and the pain of youth. Finally, she watched a movie. It was called Hua Mulan. Hua Mulan was on the battlefield for 12 years. She went through all kinds of wars and lost many friends. She fought side by side with Prince Wen Tai and won the war. In the end, for the sake of peace, Wen Tai married Ruran Princess and became the emperor. Hua Mulan never married. After she finished watching, her aching heart hurt even more. She sat on the bed and looked at the air silently. She thought about her future, about what she should do, about how good it would be if she could forget everything and live a new life. In the morning, Baya brushed her teeth and washed her face. She looked at herself in the mirror with dark circles under her eyes. She tried to forget what happened last night and hypnotized herself. Life had to go on. She had things to do. She put on makeup to cover the dark circles under her eyes. She applied foundation, highlight powder, and lip gloss. After the reunion dinner, everyone was very lazy at work. Baya continued to organize the letters and documents. She wanted to make herself busy, so busy that she didn't have time to feel sad. At 10 o'clock, the director came to look for Baya. His face was very serious. Baya, someone is looking for you. Who? Baya looked at the director's face. She guessed that the person looking for her was someone important. She couldn't think of anyone, so she followed the director to the director's office. There were 8 expressionless people standing at the door of the director's office. The first thing that came to Baya's mind was that they were soldiers. Could it be that her encounter with Gu Lingqing last night had been found out by Gu Lingqing's parents? She pushed the door open and walked in anxiously. Gu Lingqing was sitting in the director's seat. He was a stiff, cold, and upright person. Even when he was sitting, his posture was straight. The only thing that didn't change was his swift and decisive gaze. It was like an X-ray, as if he wanted to see through her eyes and see her soul. Baya was very surprised that Gu Lingqing would come to look for her. "It's you." Gu Lingqing was also very surprised. Baya clenched his fists nervously and tried his best to remain calm. He lowered his eyes and asked, "Why are you looking for me?" "Last night, I had dinner with an old comrade of mine and he mentioned you." Gu Lingqing asked tentatively with no warmth in his eyes. She guessed it was the director of the armed forces. "What did he say?" Baya asked. "How did he say I did last time?" She said that Baya did not contact her. She should have finished her task, right? But she's still in the procuratorate. "Did I ask you to do something before?" Gu Lingqing asked suspiciously. Baya felt that this was the best chance for Zhou Jing and the rest. Perhaps if she said it out loud, Zhou Jing and the others would leave her, but she couldn't be selfish. You had a separate task and deleted some people's information to help you carry it out secretly. But, the chief lost his memory and can't remember. I really gave you a task. Gu Lingqing frowned and looked at Baya's face. Although you lost your memory, you have a secret archive. You can find their information in the archive, Baya said rationally. What about you? Did I also send them? Gu Lingqing's eyes flashed with confusion. No. Baya's heart ached. I've met you a few times. You felt that I would be more suitable for the supporting task, so I joined in. I'm not from your military base. Where are those people now? Gu Lingqing said sternly. You probably won't believe me just from my words. I think you should go to the secret archive to find out the details. They are waiting for you to call them back. Baya's eyes turned red. She lowered her eyes to hide the emotions in her eyes. What is life? You work hard but you don't get anything, so you feel wronged and desperate. It's better not to do anything. Baya left the director's office. Zhou Jing pulled Baya to the courtyard behind the prosecutor's office. She lowered her voice and asked, Baya, is the person who came to see you today the chief? Yes, Gu Lingqing. Did you tell him about us? Zhou Ming was anxious and held Baya's hand. I did. He went to the secret archive to look for it. He should contact you. Baya looked at Zhou Ming reluctantly. Zhou Ming showed a long-lost smile. That's great. We can finally return to the organization. Fortunately, we haven't given up. Baya's eyes were covered with a layer of mist. Zhou Ming, what do you think is the relationship between me and Gu Lingqing? Zhou Ming paused and said honestly, you're a couple, right? Tears flowed from the corner of Baya's eyes. She thought of a song, I've been in love with you, so the thought of it makes my heart ache. She saw indifference, alienation, and unfamiliarity in Gu Lingqing's eyes. There was no her in his eyes. In his heart, there was no her. The current Gu Lingqing had no distractions and was developing well. If she said it out loud, it would only make Gu Lingqing annoyed. There was no benefit. If he didn't love her, he didn't love her anymore. She didn't want pity, sympathy, or compensation. Zhou Ming, remember that Gu Lingqing and I are not a couple. We've met a few times before and completed a mission together. That's all, Baya said. Zhou Ming looked at Baya's red eyes. The chief has forgotten about you, but he'll give you a chance. He'll fall in love with you again. Don't be discouraged. Zhou Ming comforted her. It's good that he's forgotten about me. He's living a new life, and he's letting me go. We've crossed paths in the past. In the future, we'll only walk further and further apart. If Gu Lingqing asks about our relationship, just tell him what I said. I'm guessing he'll contact you soon. Your information will be in the confidential archives. He might transfer you away. Even if he doesn't, he won't let you follow me. Alright. Tonight, I'll treat you guys to a meal. Treat it as a reunion dinner, and also a celebration for you guys, Baiya said calmly. She made it seem like she wasn't hurt. Zhou Ming was a little sad. What will you do if we walk away? People are fearless when they're ignorant. People who don't understand will talk nonsense. I thought that after I solved the case of the village massacre, I'd have a meteoric rise and climb the mountain. In fact, those pleasant face-slapping, smooth sailing, dangerous situations, and always turning bad luck into good luck only exist in novels and TV shows. I've coveted what I shouldn't have and challenged what I shouldn't have. It's enough to prove that I'm not capable enough, and it's useless to bite off more than I can chew. I'll return to my life and do what I'm supposed to do. Don't worry, everyone has their own destiny, Baiya said calmly. Chapter 130. Zhou Jing felt sad. How about this, if the chief wants us to continue the mission, I'll ask you to be the commander. If I'm the commander, I'll only drag you guys down. If Gu Lingqing is the leader, he'll be swift and decisive and have a lot of connections. Most importantly, he's in a high position and it'll be easier for you guys to carry out your work. Let's have dinner together tonight. Baiya turned and walked towards the prosecutor's office. She bumped into Gu Lingqing at the door. She lowered her head and stood aside. Gu Lingqing left under the protection of a group of soldiers. He didn't even look at her, just like how she didn't look at him either. She turned around and returned to her office. At night, Zhou Min called everyone back and they gathered at the secret gathering place for dinner. Baiya and Zhou Min were the main chefs. The others were also relaxed. They bought beer, peanuts, pig head meat, 3 yellow chicken, fried yellow croaker, braised chicken wings, beef and other cold dishes. They drank first and chatted about all sorts of things. Because they were abandoned together, their relationship deepened. Baiya served the hot dishes one by one. Prosecutor Bai, you're so good at cooking. Whoever marries you will be lucky, a soldier teased. Baiya smiled. This kind of thing depends on fate. When fate comes, you can't stop it. If fate doesn't come, you can't stop it even if you want to. He, that's because Prosecutor Bai is sunny. Actually, I think it's better to find someone who's compatible with you. If you're too demanding, you won't be able to find one, another soldier said. That makes sense, Baiya agreed. What are you talking about? Someone like Baiya has such a good background. Of course, you have to find someone better, Zhou Min scolded. I just want to see if I have a chance. The soldier laughed. You're a toad that wants to eat swan meat. Dream on. Zhou Min helped Baiya block it. Then, Zhou Min, do you think we're good enough? Pfft, ha. As Baiya watched them play and have fun, there was a hint of tenderness in her eyes. The light above her head shone into her eyes, illuminating her originally beautiful face. She realized that people with a low point of satisfaction, who thought less and hoped less, would be happy. Actually, she didn't have high requirements. She just wanted a family, a husband who loved her, and a child that belonged to them. She didn't need to be rich or wealthy. She just wanted a simple, ordinary, and warm life. However, it seemed that this hope had become an extravagant hope. It wasn't that she wasn't satisfied, but she didn't know what else she wanted. People like her were probably the most miserable, with no desires. Half of the meal was over. Zhou Min's phone rang. She saw that it was a call from a stranger and picked it up. Baiya looked at Zhou Min. Yes, I am. I am the person in charge of the ancient operation. Yes, they are all following me. Yes, I will report back tomorrow. Yes, thank you for the organization's kindness. I will definitely do my best. Zhou Min's face was filled with excitement, but her eyes were misty. When Zhou Min picked up the phone, everyone was silent. Even their breathing could be heard clearly. Zhou Min hung up the phone. She was a little emotional and said to her comrades, "They found our information and recovered our files. We can go back now. We will report back tomorrow." "Oh, that's great, that's great. We can finally go back. We can finally do big things again. I miss my bed in the military base. I miss the military field. I miss my class monitor." Baya watched as they danced around, sang military songs, and played together. Her lips curled into a smile. The next day, Zhou Min left early. When she heard the door close, she opened her eyes and stared at the ceiling in a daze. There was a place in her heart that she had lost again. She seemed to have become even more lonely. After Zhou Min left, she went to the prosecutor's office to apply for leave and went straight home. She didn't take a plane but took a train instead. She couldn't get a berth and didn't even have a seat. She could only stand. Because it was almost the Lunar New Year. There were many people on the train. There were bags of all sizes. The young, the old, and the young. Some of them were staring out of the window in a daze. Some were eating instant noodles, some were gnawing on chicken feet, and some were resting with their eyes closed. Some of them looked happy, some of them talked non-stop, some of them looked sad, some of them looked down and played with their phones, and some of them couldn't be distinguished. Baya was bored. What was she thinking about? What were the happy people happy about? What were the sad people sad about? And she hadn't changed at all. She was single, had a job, had a friend like Lu Shuang, and had a mother to take care of. The only difference was that she had lost her heart. "Take a seat. You've been standing for a long time," a man in a suit said to Baya and stood up. Baya smiled. "I'm not tired, thank you." "Where are you going? You don't have much luggage." "Are you still a student?" the man asked politely. Student? Baya thought of her student life. At that time, she was diligent, busy, and poor. Every day, she had to study and earn money to support herself. She wanted to find a better job. She had no one to rely on. She could only rely on herself. Her life was tough, but she was full of hope for life. With a vision for the future, she worked hard. She shook her head. "I'm not a student." "Ha, you work in Jinyang City. You should go home now," the man guessed. Baya didn't say anything else and picked up her phone. Seeing that Baya didn't want to sit down, the man sat down again. Baya played with her phone. She looked at all her contacts, but she didn't know who to send it to. After thinking for a while, she sent it to Lu Shuang. "Shuang Niu, I came back early by train. I'll be there at around 18:45. Let's get together tonight. I'll treat you to dinner." After Baya sent the message, Lu Shuang replied immediately. "Okay, call me when you arrive. I'll pick you up at the train station." Mwah. Looking at Lu Shuang's message, Baya's lips curled up. Lu Shuang was still as passionate and unrestrained as ever. However, she didn't know what to say to Lu Shuang. She hung up the phone. "I'm a fortune teller. Do you want me to tell your fortune?" the man asked again. Baya looked at the man. Fortune telling was just a little bit of research on psychology. She had also majored in psychology. Anyway, they were strangers. After getting off the train, they didn't know each other anymore. "Okay, you can tell my fortune," Baya said softly. The man looked at Baya's eyes and said, "You've fallen out of love." "Sort of." Baya laughed. "You're so accurate. Why did you guess that I'm a student before?" I guessed that you're a student to make you look younger. Being a student is the best time. Many girls like others to think of them as students, the man explained politely. Baya also looked at the man. She sized up the man's clothes, spoke calmly, and said softly, "You're working, divorced, and don't have children." Chapter 131. You are a doctor in the field of psychology. You have some achievements in your career and you want to enjoy life. You came to Jinyang City on a business trip and had sex with an online friend whom you have been chatting with for a few days. She came to send you off today, but you are not satisfied with her. Because of that, you decided to go back early. Baya analyzed. The man's eyes were filled with surprise. How did you analyze that? Your analysis is correct. Firstly, there is a ring mark on your ring finger. You just got divorced. If you have a child, you will be confused and annoyed. But you don't. Secondly, you are wearing a Patek Philippe watch. This watch is expensive, so you are successful in your career. Thirdly, there is a faint smell of medicine on your body. It is not very strong. The way you talk is not like a normal doctor. Moreover, your analysis of me should be psychological. Fourthly, there is a woman's powder smell on your body. This smell is on your face, clothes, and hands. This is not a normal relationship between a man and a woman. Fifthly, you do not have much luggage. Only that briefcase is yours. Only that briefcase matches your taste. So, you are on a business trip. Sixthly, with your status, you should not take a plane or a sleeper. It is an emergency. You should be going back early by taking the train. Seventhly, there is no worry about work or life between your eyebrows. But you are so eager to talk to me. Your pupils are dilated. That is the psychology of hunting for women. From your psychology, I can judge your character and mentality. Baya finished her analysis. The man was not angry at all. Instead, he was surprised and looked at Baya. I know all the famous or capable people in the field of psychology. I am also familiar with the faces of the students in recent years. But I have never seen or heard of you. You are so beautiful. You should leave a deep impression. The man was curious. Baya looked down. She had studied psychology for a year when she was in university. She thought she had learned enough. But it turned out that theory alone was not enough. After she lost her child, she went to see a psychologist. She also studied psychology books to hypnotize and numb herself. She thought she was rational, clear, and could see through many things. But reality proved that complacency was due to ignorance. Because she did not know anything, she felt that she was full of herself. A doctor cannot cure himself. That made sense. What's wrong? If you need my help, feel free to come and find me. In addition, I welcome talents like you to work in my courtyard. I will hire you with a high salary. The man handed over a gold-plated business card. Baya took it and glanced at it. Mu Xiaosheng, an international psychologist, was the vice president of the Institute of Psychology, a negotiation expert, and a professor of psychological counseling in the military. The word, military district, was like a hammer pounding on her heart. She put his card into her bag. I gave you my business card. Won't you give me one? Mu Xiaosheng asked gently. I'm sorry, I don't have a name card. If I need anything, I will contact you. I hope that there will never be a day when I need anything. Baya smiled. There was sadness in his eyes, but it disappeared in an instant. Mu Xiaosheng could see that Baya was very defensive. He stood up and said, since we know each other, sit down. I'll tell you a way to quickly forget the past. What is it? Baya was curious and sat down. There is a method called hypnosis. It is divided into self-hypnosis, forced hypnosis, and pathological hypnosis. You can forget some unhappy things through forced hypnosis and self-hypnosis. Now, experts in the United States have developed a more advanced technology. It is currently in the experimental stage. It needs to be combined with hypnosis treatment. What technology? These academic things could only be understood by experts. It has been reported on the internet before. It is mainly used to treat mental patients. Most of the mental patients suffered a heavy blow in their relationships and lives, so they were hit until their minds were muddled. In fact, this is a kind of self-protection for people to escape from the pain that makes them wish they were dead. Experts believe that as long as this part of the painful experience is extracted, people can slowly recover, Mu Shaoxing explained. How do you extract a person's memory? Baiya was puzzled. The principle is that the human brain is equivalent to a mainframe. The main thing is to find the sad memory stored in the mainframe and delete it. How do you find the sad memory? Baiya asked. Mu Shaoxing didn't expect Baiya to be such a calm person. He laughed unconsciously. In your life, you are a person who makes people feel very pressured. Don't be too rational. It is rare to be confused. Baiya looked out of the window and ignored Mu Shaoxing. Mu Shaoxing looked at Baiya's beautiful side profile. Some technical things are not available to the public. This skill is not mature. It is still in the experimental stage. If you are interested, I can cooperate with them to do psychological counseling. If there is a chance, I will take you to have a look. Baiya leaned on the chair and closed her eyes. Mu Shaoxing was speechless. He stood for a full 3 hours. He cleared his throat and insisted on standing. Baiya looked at him, stood up, and walked to the bathroom. Mu Shaoxing's face was strange and awkward. He sat on the chair. Baiya went to the bathroom and didn't go back. She stood at the door and looked at the scenery outside. She read a report a few days ago. A 60-year-old married woman was cheated of more than 600,000 yuan. The general story was that the man said he wanted a divorce because of her, but the company's funds were frozen and he had to fight a lawsuit with his wife. The woman borrowed money to fight a lawsuit with her lover, whom she had never met. In the end, both the woman and the money were gone. If he was wrong, he was wrong. If the woman didn't step on the moral bottom line, ignore the pain of the man's wife, and be selfish, she wouldn't have suffered the consequences. People must have self-awareness. Why should the man love you? If you don't deserve the man's love, it must be a seemingly sweet lie. For her, Gu Lingqing was a great temptation. She only had eyes for him. She forgot her identity, status, gap, possibility, and reason. She dived into it, betrayed the marriage, and stepped on her own bottom line. That was why there was such a result today. No one would bear it for her. She could only bear it herself. Why are you here? Gu Lingqing's voice sounded. Baiya turned around and saw his clear eyes, cold arrogance, and a trace of suspicion, scrutiny, and defensiveness. The corners of Baiya's mouth curled up slightly, as if it had been 10,000 years. She said faintly, I'm going home. Is there a seat? Gu Lingqing asked. Yes. Baiya nodded, walked past Gu Lingqing, and walked into the car. Gu Lingqing looked at her back with deep eyes. There were some ripples in his eyes. Chapter 132. Baiya's back stiffened, and she moved to the side defensively. Gu Lingqing felt that he was being rude. He let go of his hand and looked at her expressionlessly. There was no warmth in his voice. He asked, Where are you getting off? Baiya lowered her head and clenched her fists slightly. She calmed herself down and replied, City A, it's still more than 5 hours from here to City A. Come with me. I just have something to ask you. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. He didn't allow anyone to refuse. Baiya thought that if Gu Lingqing hadn't been so domineering to enter her world, strong and domineering, she wouldn't have fallen in love with him. She wanted to pull away several times. Now she was already deeply involved, but he didn't leave a cloud behind and pulled away. Baya walked towards her box. Gu Lingqing followed behind her. He glanced at the seats, which were all occupied. Didn't you say that you had a seat? Baya tried to reach her suitcase, but she couldn't reach it. Gu Lingqing reached out and helped her take it down. Baya explained, there are so many people in the carriage. When I stand up, someone will naturally sit on it. Isn't it normal? Really? Gu Lingqing didn't quite believe it. If someone sat on her seat and saw her coming back, they should have stood up sensibly. Mu Shaoxing looked at Baya, and then looked at Gu Lingqing. He stood up and said heroically, "What's wrong? Do you need help?" Baya shook her head. "Thank you." She walked towards the front. Gu Lingqing took her to the box. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes. She always thought that the train only had hard berths, soft berths, seats, and no seats. His box had a large bed of 1.8 meters by 1.8 meters, a table with a coffee pot, fruit, a computer, and a sofa. "Sit down." Gu Lingqing pointed to the sofa. Baya sat down. Gu Lingqing sat down opposite her. "I heard from Zhou Jing that I trust you a lot. So, you're participating in this ancient mission, and you're a very important part of it. How did I get to know you?" Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. She was neither humble nor pushy, nor did she try to avoid his gaze. "You were carrying out a mission before, and you needed an obstetrician and gynecologist. I was that obstetrician and gynecologist. We met once during the mission. Lieutenant Colonel Shang, who was with you, should be able to prove this." "Lieutenant Colonel Shang? What's his name? Is he one of my people?" Gu Lingqing was suspicious. Baya remembered. Su Jiaran once said that Gu Lingqing's memory stopped on the day his girlfriend died. At that time, he was just a special forces soldier, a first lieutenant, a lieutenant colonel. Lieutenant Colonel Shang had yet to return to his side. Now it seemed that Lieutenant Colonel Shang had been secretly transferred away. The person who secretly transferred Lieutenant Colonel Shang away was most likely Gu Lingqing's father, Gu Tianhang. Her little finger was slightly painful. She covered it with her left hand and said softly, "I'm not familiar with him, and we don't have any contact. So, I don't know his name, and I'm not sure if he is one of your people." "What happened to your little finger?" Gu Lingqing frowned and asked with suspicion in his eyes. "I was kidnapped, and it was chopped off when I was kidnapped." Baya said softly. "My little finger is gone too. Does it have anything to do with you?" Gu Lingqing asked. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. She was a little angry, a little sad, and a little desperate. Because she was unwilling, she regretted and complained. However, she couldn't blame Gu Lingqing. In the past, Gu Lingqing loved her deeply and protected her with his life several times. He lost his memory, and he didn't do it willingly. If Gu Lingqing died, she would follow him without hesitation. No matter what, she wouldn't be afraid, and she would follow him all the way. However, Gu Lingqing was still alive. He just lost her. Even if she died, she couldn't find Gu Lingqing. She could only let him go and let him fly. It doesn't matter. Maybe they both like to chop off their little fingers. Baya said coldly. "I've checked the information. This ancient operation is related to the massacre case of Tangqian village. Do you know about it?" Gu Lingqing continued to ask. "It started from the fall of a governor named Qingbin. He was murdered, and some people suspected you. So, in order to prove your innocence, you investigated Tangqian village. The person who killed Qingbin was called Tang Xiaojiu. He was the son of the village chief of Tangqian village. So, you know about the massacre case of Tangqian village. It should be in your mailbox," Baya said lightly. "I've told you about it. You and I should be acquaintances, right? You're very cold to me." Gu Lingqing felt that things weren't that simple. Baiya said coldly, I'm like this. You'll know it when you check my background. I've been married and divorced. My mother is mentally ill. This kind of living environment is destined to not be optimistic. I have a lively personality. I'm cold to everyone. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. I want you to cooperate with me in this case. Is that okay? Gu Lingqing asked. No. I lost my memory because of you. Now that you're back, I should leave, Baiya said rationally. It had been half a year, and she knew her own limits very well. Gu Lingqing obviously had Zhou Min. He didn't need her. She didn't want to be involved with him. If she stopped thinking about him, she wouldn't be so sad every day. She was afraid that one day, she would become the next Bai Bing. If you need anything, you can ask Zhou Min to look for me, Gu Lingqing said harshly. He turned around and worked on the computer. Baiya didn't look at him. She closed her eyes. Gu Lingqing didn't give her his phone number directly. It meant that he wanted to walk out of her life completely. So be it. Since she chose to let go, she would work hard to make it happen. She didn't sleep last night. She fell asleep in a daze just now. Now, she was too sleepy. After a while, she fell asleep. She was woken up by someone. Baiya opened her eyes. She didn't know when she fell asleep on Gu Lingqing's bed. It'll be here in 10 minutes, Gu Lingqing reminded her. Baiya got up from his bed, walked into the bathroom, washed her face and came back. She nodded at Gu Lingqing. Thank you for taking care of me. Do you need me to call someone to send you back? Gu Lingqing asked. No need. My friend is waiting for me at the door. Thank you again. I hope you'll be successful, happy and healthy in the future. Baiya said what she wanted to say. She turned around and left his private room with her luggage. She went to the door and looked at the scenery outside. She hadn't been back to City A for a long time. Compared to Jinyang City, this place was more intimate. The corners of her mouth lifted slightly. Chapter 133. As soon as Baiya went out, Lu Shuang waved his hands and shouted happily, Xiao Bai, my Xiao Bai. Baiya smiled when she saw Lu Shuang. They hadn't seen each other for almost half a year. Lu Shuang was still as lively and cheerful as before. She walked toward Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang took her luggage and put it in the trunk. Xiao Bai, long time no see. You're prettier than before. I feel like I'm eating honey every day when I'm with you. You're prettier too. Baiya hugged Lu Shuang. Then why are you still going to Jinyang City? Lu Shuang said regretfully. Baiya's eyes dimmed. If you don't work hard, you won't know what you're capable of. Lu Shuang was amused. Thank you for comforting me. You can sleep at my place tonight. We haven't been together for a long time. Okay. Baiya got in the car and put on the seatbelt. She looked out of the window. There weren't many changes in City A, you're so cruel. You didn't contact me after you left the hospital. I was so sad. I thought I had no friends left, Lu Shuang said coquettishly. You're my only best friend. It's not that I didn't contact you. I just had too many things to do, Baiya comforted him. When are you going to transfer back? I miss you so much. Don't go to Jinyang City after the new year. Gu Lingqing had already accepted the position in Jinyang City. Even if he didn't accept it, he would send someone more capable to do it. She really didn't have to go back. Baiya leaned against the window and looked at Lu Shuang. What about you? Did you find a boyfriend? Sigh. I entered the military with the hope of finding a boyfriend. Damn it. There's a tigress in the military who makes me do this and that every day. I didn't see any officers, just a bunch of dark guys whose faces I couldn't see clearly. Most importantly, I didn't see anyone particularly handsome. Isn't it the special forces? They should all be handsome. Lu Shuang was disappointed. Baiya laughed. Shen Yan is quite handsome. Don't. That man is just an embroidered pillow, a bag of grass. Lu Shuang directly rejected Shen Yan. So, our Shuangniu is a person who looks at inner qualities. I also want to have a chance to understand them. The requirements in the military were very high, and many places could not be entered without permission. Their work seems to be very busy, so I can only get in touch with some of the lowest level. More importantly, I didn't even have the chance to communicate with those at the bottom. They have a clear hierarchy. For example, if I want to see Gu Lingqing, even in the same military region, it's almost impossible, let alone talk to the top leader, Lu Shuang complained. This is fate. There's no need to force it, Baiya said in a carefree manner. Lu Shuang glanced at Baiya and wanted to ask about Gu Lingqing. However, when he saw that Baiya didn't want to mention Gu Lingqing, he stopped himself and didn't say anything. After a while, Lu Shuang brought Baiya to a newly opened restaurant. This restaurant is famous now. It's the only one with 3 Michelin stars in City A. Usually, you have to make a reservation half a month in advance to get a table. Lu Shuang got out of the car and introduced. It seems that you are not an ordinary person. Baiya continued Lu Shuang's words. Not really. I made a reservation half a month ago. I was going to eat alone, and you just came back. Don't you think it's a coincidence? Lu Shuang brought Baiya into the restaurant. Baiya smiled faintly. There were many people in the restaurant, and there was a large group of people waiting for a table at the door. The business was very good. Lu Shuang told the waiter his last phone number and sat down with the waiter. Baiya picked up the menu and ordered 5 or 6 dishes. Lu Shuang ordered another 6 dishes. You ordered so many dishes. Are there still people coming? Baiya asked curiously. No. I eat in the cafeteria in the military area every day. It's not easy for me to come out, so I must eat to my heart's content. By the way, didn't you say that the work in the military area was easy, so you went to the military area? Easy my ass. There are no surgeries, but there are a lot of small things. They often do surprise attacks in the middle of the night. I'm often on the night shift, and there are often injured people sent here. The key is that there are exams and all kinds of things. I heard that they also need doctors to follow them when they carry out missions. I feel like I'm courting death. Lu Shuang was very depressed. Don't worry. The doctors they look for on missions are also outstanding. They won't drag you down. Baiya supported her face and said jokingly. I think so too. So, who's that? Su Xiaoling still trains with the soldiers every day. I just stay in the nursing room and blow on the heater. I'm determined not to go out. Lu Shuang loved to talk. He talked a lot, from his life in the military area to his former colleagues, and then from his former colleagues to his university life. Do you have a boyfriend in Jinyang City? Lu Shuang asked curiously. Baiya shook her head. I've experienced the best scenery, so I won't make do with it. If I make do with it, I'll hurt others. Maybe being alone is the best ending for me. Lu Shuang held Baiya's hand and comforted her. Little Bai, you're so good. You have a high degree, a high IQ, a beautiful face, a good figure, and you're gentle. You also know how to do housework and always think about others. A goddess like you will definitely find the best man. You're making me proud. Why haven't I realized that I have so many advantages? Baiya poked Lu Shuang's nose. I'm so happy to see you today. Let's have a drink, okay? Lu Shuang said coquettishly. Okay. It's my treat today. Forget it. Don't I know how much money you have? Waiter. Lu Shuang shouted. I work in Jinyang City and earn a lot of money. Because I was transferred from City A, the procuratorate won't mistreat me. I even got a year-end bonus of more than 100,000 yuan. I usually live in a 6-star presidential suite. Baiya explained. Presidential suite? That's so good. I live in the dormitory in the military area and sleep on the same bunk with others. My salary for half a year is less than 100,000 yuan. I want to follow you to be a prosecutor. Lu Shuang scratched his head and felt even more depressed. It's a blessing in disguise. You'll know what it's like after you do it. Don't regret. Just be flexible. Baiya said meaningfully. Yes. I'll apply for the disciplinary examination. I still like working with you. We'll do everything together. Lu Shuang held Baiya's hand tightly. Baiya smiled. Her smile was as light as a clear spring. It made people feel comfortable, but there was also an indescribable sadness. It's you. Are you also eating here? A man's voice sounded. Baiya looked to the side. It was the man she met on the train. Mu Xiaosheng. We met twice in one day. It's really a good fate. Mu Xiaosheng smiled. Fate. It's not necessarily a good fate. Baiya said bluntly. Chapter 134. What's the secret? Baiya blurted out. Can I have your phone number? Mu Xiaosheng asked gently. Baiya's eyes turned cold. He said the secret was just a way to strike up a conversation. Moreover, what did Gu Lingqing's secret have to do with her? If we have a chance next time, it's not too late to stay. Besides, I don't think your girlfriend is very willing. Baiya smiled at his female companion. She's not my girlfriend. She's my colleague. Mu Xiaosheng explained. Even rabbits don't eat the grass near their nests. Dean Mu, flowers are everywhere. It's really amazing. Baiya said coldly. Mu Xiaosheng felt a little embarrassed. He smiled faintly and left with his colleague. I told you. You're so beautiful. Peach blossoms are everywhere, although they're not good ones. Sigh. Lu Shuang sighed. Baiya listened to Lu Shuang talking about a lot of gossip and anecdotes when she was not around. They drank a little. She didn't know if she felt that both of them had drunk too much. Lu Shuang didn't drive back. They took a taxi. When they arrived home, they felt dizzy. They took a shower and climbed into bed. Lu Shuang hugged Baiya and muttered in a low voice, little Bai, don't leave again. If you want to leave, take me with you. Baiya opened her eyes and looked at the air. Her eyes were as calm as water. It was misty. She closed her eyes quietly. The next day, Lu Shuang went to work in the military unwillingly. When he left, he was complaining again. Boring. It's too boring. Little Bai, you know that soldiers don't have holidays. They can have a long holiday once a year. The long holiday can last for a month, but they don't even have annual leave. Like me, it's only 3 days. It's boring. It's too boring. I don't want to work anymore. I want to wander around with you. Treat the military base as your home. You're basically at home every day, Baiya joked. Lu Shuang put on his military uniform and said, You're so bad. If you come, I'll treat Tian as my home. Now that there's an old witch at home, I can only treat Tian as my prison. Hey, I'll go to work first. I'll see if I can take some time off. When the time comes, I'll go shopping with you. Baiya looked at Lu Shuang with a smile. Her military uniform on the bed was really handsome, majestic, and convincing. She thought that this was the charm of a soldier. She even felt that he looked handsome in his uniform. Lu Shuang went to work. Baiya went to the sanatorium to see Bai Bing. Instead of going directly to Bai Bing's ward, she went to find Bai Bing's attending doctor. How's my mother? Baya asked with concern. She's getting more and more absent-minded. You'll know when you see her later, the doctor said apologetically. I want to ask, how long can my mother live in such a situation? At most 5 years. You should be mentally prepared. There are also people who have lived for more than 10 years. To be honest, she's living in her own dream now. She'll only burden her family if she lives, the doctor said cruelly. I want to pay for her for 10 years. How much does it cost? Baya asked. 10 years? Are you going to travel far? You can remit money when the time comes. Why do you want to pay for 10 years at once? The doctor was surprised. I'm going to a place that's isolated from the world. So, I want to pay all the money, Baya said with a smile. The doctor looked at Baya suspiciously. You're not taking things too hard, are you? I'm not taking things too hard, Baya continued the doctor's words. Go to the cashier's office and have a look. Your mother's situation is subsidized by the state. She shouldn't have to pay much, the doctor said. Thank you. Baya went to the cashier's office. The staff at the cashier's office calculated with a computer and said, 165,842. Baya checked her bank account and found that she had 235,673 yuan in it. I'll pay 230,000 in advance. If it's not used up, my mother will pass away. Please use the rest of the money for her funeral. If it's not enough, I'll give you a phone number and you can call him, Baya said. She paid the money and gave him Xing Bachuan's phone number. This was what Xing Bachuan owed her mother. Baya was done and went to Bai Bing's ward. Bai Bing didn't seem to see Baya. She hugged the pillow and muttered to herself, Bachuan, look, Xiaoya is smiling. Xiaoya is so smart. She could call mom at 10 months and walk at 13 months. She could recite the 3-character classic at 2 years old. She's like you, but she looks like you. I'm beautiful. When Baya saw Bai Bing's smile, she cried quietly. In her memory, she had never seen Bai Bing smile. She was completely crazy, but she saw it. Was this ironic? If her family was happy, would she be as desperate as she was now? Unfortunately, there were no ifs in the world. Bachuan, thank you for falling in love with me. I'll love you forever. I'm going to breastfeed Xiaoya. You can't watch, Bai Bing said to the air. She lifted her clothes and pressed her body against the pillow. Baya sat in front of Bai Bing. Bai Bing looked at Baya defensively. Don't take my child. Go away. Baya felt sad. She brushed Bai Bing's hair, leaned over, and kissed her on the forehead. She said softly, Mom, I'm sorry I can't take care of you anymore. If there's a next life, I'll still be your daughter. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Bai Bing looked at Baya in a daze. Bachuan said that he only loves me. Yeah, he only loves you, Baya replied. Bai Bing smiled. I knew he only loves me. I had nothing back then, I was just an orphan. Bachuan ignored his family's objections and married me. He really, really loves me. Baya nodded, turned her face away, and walked out. She didn't want to become like Bai Bing in the future. She looked so pitiful. If she was living in a dream now, she might as well die with it. But where was she going to die? Jumping into a river was the most uncomfortable way to die. Water would enter through the nose and mouth, tickling the heart and lungs, suffocating. After death, the body would even swell and float to the surface, emitting a foul smell. Jumping off a building, not dying but becoming a cripple would be tragic. Dying would be too unsightly. Drinking poison, generally, wouldn't die within 2 to 3 hours. There would be no more dreams. She thought of cutting her wrists. Cutting her wrists wouldn't hurt. After taking a few sleeping pills, she would fall asleep and die. Losing too much blood would make her look ugly. Fortunately, she could put on makeup. She couldn't die at Lu Shuang's place and cause trouble for Lu Shuang. She couldn't die in a hotel and cause trouble for strangers. If she died in the wilderness, she would be afraid of being discovered. What's more, she would be afraid that no one would find her. Her body would stink and rot. She didn't have a home, and she didn't have her own space. After thinking about it, she could only think of Xing Bachuan's place. She was Xing Bachuan's daughter. Her body, hair, and skin were given by her parents. Chapter 135. Baiya went back to Lu Shuang's place to take a shower. She changed into a long white dress and a black coat. She didn't take her luggage with her and left it at Lu Shuang's place. She was a little selfish. If she left it at Xing Bachuan's place, it would definitely be thrown away like trash. Sometimes, she didn't want to leave no trace of her existence in this world. Baiya went to Xing Bachuan's place. Xing Jinyan rolled her eyes when she saw Baiya coming over. "Mom, that B*TCH is back," Xing Jinyan said loudly on purpose. Baiya walked past indifferently, not even looking at her. Xing Jinyan was furious. She blocked Baiya's way. "Baiya, this is my house. Don't you have to greet me when you enter my house?" Baiya looked up at Xing Jinyan. Her eyes were as calm as still water. "I think you don't like greeting me either. Since you know that there's no place for you in this house. Why did you still come?" Xing Jinyan said through gritted teeth. "Xing Jinyan, good and evil will be repaid in the end. What you did to me will not be buried in the dust with time. Heaven knows, earth knows, you know, and I know," Baiya said calmly. She walked past Xing Jinyan. Xing Jinyan didn't follow her because she had a guilty conscience. She had asked people to kidnap Baiya and even asked people to kill Baiya. If Baiya hadn't left early, she would have planned for Baiya to lie on Gu Lingqing's bed. Did Baiya know that she was the one who did all of this? She looked at Baiya's back. The more she thought about it, the more afraid she became. "Baiya, don't think that I'm afraid of you. You're nothing in my eyes," Xing Jinyan said arrogantly. Baiya didn't turn back. She opened the door, entered the room and locked the door. She had put on a very delicate makeup. She applied a white foundation, blush, and a vintage red color. She didn't leave out a single eyelash, eyebrow powder, and eyeliner. Baiya also loved to be pretty. She smiled at herself in the mirror and remembered her youthful and beautiful appearance. She took a photo and put it in her QQ space, which she had not used for a long time. It was accompanied by the words, "Just as we first met." She took the sheets and comforter out of the cupboard. These were all bought by her. They were very clean. She spread it on the bed. Xing Bachuan's villa was very quiet. Unfortunately, there was no sunlight today. In the winter, it was gloomy and cold. She didn't wear much, but it didn't matter. She would eventually become a cold corpse. She took off her black coat and put it on the table. He took out a sharp knife from his bag. Without any hesitation, she cut her wrist. Red blood flowed out and dripped on her snow-white dress. She also threw the knife on the table. Cutting the wrist with a sharp knife was actually not painful. The blood was warm and flowed from her fingers. She lay on the bed quietly and closed her eyes. The doctor at the sanatorium said, "Don't take it too hard." She was actually quite open-minded. Her heart was lost, and she could never find it again. For the sake of Gu Lingqing's bright future, she couldn't even go to him. Without her in his heart, if she told the truth, it would only make him disgusted, worried, and hate her. Since she was born, she hadn't been happy for more than a few days. Now, she had no more desires. She had done what she should do. She didn't insist on what she couldn't give up. She didn't want another life. This world had never given her a bright color, and she didn't want to miss it. More and more blood flowed out. She also became more and more drowsy. Gu Lingqing, you must be happy. Lu Shuang, you must be happy. Baiya fell asleep. Time passed by, minute by minute, Su Jiran's eyelids kept twitching. His heart was heavy, and he had a very uncomfortable feeling. He remembered that Baiya would always cook a table of delicious food during the new year. He would occasionally go over to see what she had cooked, but he would never eat at Baiya's place. He liked to see her eager but unable to say it. He always wanted to bully her, say a few words to make her angry, but she would never cry. He wanted to make her cry. This was a perverted mentality. She was too proud, too strong, too proud in front of him, and he wanted to make her cry. One day, he finally made her cry as he wished, but she never came back. Su Jiran's heart was wrenched. He used the landline to make a call. He called Baiya's cell phone number. He couldn't remember anyone's phone number, not even his own, except Baiya's. Many times, he wanted to call her, but he held back. Because he didn't know what to say to her. The call went through. Su Jiran was very nervous, and he thought about a lot of opening remarks. However, the phone hung up automatically, and Baiya didn't hear it. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Come in, Su Jiran said in a deep voice. Director Su, you have a meeting in the afternoon. There are still 10 minutes left, the male assistant reminded him. Xiao Zhang, lend me your phone, Su Jiran said. Xiao Zhang handed over his phone, puzzled. Su Jiran made a call, but Baiya still didn't pick up. He was a little uneasy, so he erased the call history on Xiao Zhang's phone. Did Baiya not hear it? He walked towards the conference room, and his phone rang. It was Xing Jinyan. Su Jiran was very impatient. Every day, Xing Jinyan would call him more than 10 times, watching his every move like a detective. With the evidence he had on Xing Bachuan, he could destroy the Xing family in minutes. However, he hadn't done it yet, because he was worried about Baiya. He was afraid that Baiya would hate him, so he let Xing Bachuan be proud for a while longer. He picked up. What's up? Jiran, when are you coming back? I miss you so much, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. Su Jiran glanced at the time on his phone. It was only 2:00. I'm at work now. Baiya is back today, and I don't want to see her. I'll stay at your place today, okay? Su Jiran's eyes froze, and he frowned. She's back, so you should stay at home. Are you afraid of her? Su Jiran entered the elevator. The assistant took it to the 16th floor. Su Jiran pressed the button for the first floor. Why would I be afraid of her? She's too arrogant, and I've never seen someone like her. She's staying at my place now, Xing Jinyan said indignantly. Be good, I'll be back to keep you company now. Su Jiran's lips curled up, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Really? That's great, Jiran. Su Jiran hung up and said to the assistant, today's meeting will be a video conference. I'll contact you when I'm free. Okay. The assistant nodded, confused. Chapter 136. There was no traffic at 2:00. He arrived at Xing Bachuan's house in 20 minutes. Xing Jinyan had put on exquisite makeup and ran to Su Jiran. Jiran, you're back. Su Jiran smiled. His smile was devilish and distant. Where's your father? Is he back? How could my father be back at this hour? He's not you, the CEO of a company. You decide the working hours. Jiran, I haven't seen you for a few days. What have you been busy with? Xing Jinyan asked warmly. It's the end of the year and I'm busy with work. Why don't you come to work with me tomorrow and help me? Su Jiran walked into the house and looked around. His gaze landed on Baiya's door. I don't want to. I'll go to your place. You're too busy and you find me annoying when you're busy. It's better for me to stay at home now. I'll still get paid. Xing Jinyan was delighted. Su Jiran's eyes flashed with disgust. Baya never asked him for money. Even if he gave her money, Baya wouldn't take it. Yes, you're the young madam, Su Jiran said sweetly and sat on the sofa. How long has she been back? Xing Jinyan knew that Su Jiran was referring to Baya. When I called you, Baya was acting weird. She went into her room and didn't come out, as if we owed her something. I don't know when she'll be leaving. Hurry up and leave. It'll be troublesome if she gets transferred back to City A. I hate her, Xing Jinyan said in disgust. Su Jiran had a bad feeling about Baya not picking up his phone. He went to the door and knocked. It was quiet inside. Jiran, what are you doing? Xing Jinyan asked suspiciously. Baya, come out. I have something to tell you, Su Jiran said with a frown. What do you want to tell her? Xing Jinyan didn't understand. Seeing that Su Jiran was ignoring her, she was a little unhappy. Su Jiran, you've already divorced her. She's someone that your wife doesn't want to see, so I don't think there's anything for you to do with her. Xing Jinyan unhappily said. Su Jiran knocked harder on the door. Baya, come out. Haven't you always wanted to know? I have a clue. Open the door for me. Su Jiran said in a commanding tone. However, there was still no response from the room. Panic flashed across Su Jiran's eyes as he slammed the door. What are you doing, Jiran, Jiran? Xing Jinyan tried to pull Su Jiran, but he couldn't move him at all. As if he couldn't hear Xing Jinyan, he retreated and rushed toward the door. The lock was broken and the door sprang open. Baya was lying on the bed. White bedding, white skirt, white face, sleeping peacefully, blood stained half of the bed sheets and skirt. Su Jiran's heart tightened uncomfortably. He didn't think that the strong Baya would choose to commit suicide. She was still fine when he saw her. What made her choose to commit suicide or return to Xing Bachuan's house? He thought about divorcing Baya, but he never thought about Baya dying. Sometimes, when he missed her badly, he would go to Jinyang City to see her. She was still arrogant, still clean, still unapproachable, untainted by the mud, pure but not demonic. If there really was a white moon in the world, she would be the one in his heart. When Su Jiran used his coat to carry Baya, his hands were still trembling. She seemed lifeless, her arms hanging down, and there was no breath at all. He rushed out with Baya in his arms and placed her on the driver's seat. He couldn't hear anything, only sadness. That year, he had fallen for Baya at first sight. He knew that she was Xing Bachuan's daughter, and marrying her was just his plan. He had never wanted to fall for her. However, some things wouldn't happen if one didn't want to. When she divorced him and got together with Gu Lingqing, he knew that he was crazy. He wanted her, but he didn't want a divorce. People were always trapped in their own stubborn feelings and couldn't get out. They used extreme methods to cover up their true feelings, and when they gave up struggling, it was already too late. He held Baya's hand. Baya didn't feel anything. She lowered her head obediently and leaned against the chair quietly. He would rather she fling his hand away angrily than stay still like this. Su Jiran's eyes were wet and tears flowed down. Baya, don't die. As long as you don't die, I can promise you anything. Baya, don't die, don't die. He called the hospital and asked them to wait. As soon as he arrived at the hospital, Baya was sent to the emergency room. Su Jiran sat on the chair dispiritedly. People only liked to reminisce after they had lost something. Baya had never done anything wrong with him when they were together. Baya knew that he had asked someone to kidnap her, but she didn't sue him. She also knew that he had so many women at that time, but she didn't sue him. He still remembered that one night when he had a stomachache after drinking too much and the hotel staff called her. She came over in a white coat and took care of him for the whole night without a word of complaint. The first thing he said when he woke up was, "Why are you wearing a white coat? Are you here to attend a funeral?" Baya didn't say anything to refute him. When she went back, she caught a cold and had a serious fever. She stayed at home for 2 days. Later, he found out that Baya was on night shift that day. Because she skipped work for no reason, her year-end bonus was deducted. She was that kind of person, always giving silently without any complaints or regrets. Even if she was wronged or hurt, she would just bear it. Her life was too bitter. He didn't want her to suffer anymore, as long as she could survive. He would never force her again. He would never hurt her again. He would never embarrass her again. The doctor came out of the emergency room. Su Jiran rushed over and held the doctor's shoulder. "I'm sorry." The doctor lowered his eyes. "We've tried our best." "What do you mean by tried your best?" "Save her now. You must save her. If you can't save her, I'll make you all die with me." Su Jiran pushed the doctor away. "I'm sorry." The doctor was afraid that the patient's family would be too emotional and do something extreme, so he lowered his head and left. Su Jiran grabbed the doctor's hand and ordered, "Save her. You still don't know who I am, right? I just need to call the health bureau and your hospital won't need to operate anymore. Save her. The patient has lost too much blood. She was already dead when she was sent here. There's nothing we can do. Even a god can't save her." "My condolences," the doctor said with a pale face. "What condolences? She's only 24 years old. She shouldn't die." Su Jiran dragged the doctor into the operating room and said sternly, "Save her." The doctor stood there, not knowing what to do. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.